to that time count violation. There we go. Pressure's coming. They got close. Stokes coming in off the hop. And that works in Hamilton's favor as the clock continues to tick. And they finally do take him down with only 13 seconds left. A 39-yard punt by Mike O'Brien with the house coming. And they nearly got it again, but he got it away.
Yeah, great cover by the Tiger Cats, but first protection. O'Brien, you can see, he speeds up the pace of the kick. The layout right there actually tries to pull off the little bit of a nip me. It should be contacting or roughing the kicker. He didn't get that call, but he got the most important thing out of that play, was 39 yards, and that's responding to the pressure. Then just sit coolly on the sidelines, get your hands in the hand warmer, and let it tick out.
Realistically, the Alouettes need about 40 yards. They go for close to 10 with Stokes getting out of bounds, but 7.6 seconds are on the clock, and they are still a good 15 to 20 yards from even considering a field goal. Ball's up at the 44.
Well, Terry Baker has the leg to hit a 55-yarder.
Outside again for Copeland. 4 seconds even on the clock near midfield. Now if they could spend one more play on another out, they're close to midfield now, so if they got 10 yards, they could have 10 or 15 yards. I'd say they have to get it down to about the 48 to have a realistic shot. That'd be a midfield try. So another 10, and they'd certainly give it a shot if they could get the play off in time. 4 seconds down. Is it the last play? Yes, it will be. We're down to zeros. This is it. Final play, barring penalty. And no, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have hung on. Winning a game they just about had to win. And for the second time this season, have beaten the mighty Montreal Alouettes, this time by a 29-26 final. They're always close when these two meet, and you have to wonder, will they be meeting again in the Eastern Final? Tony Miles gets the game ball for the great kick return, especially to really spark Hamilton. A 96-yard return for him that helped keep the Cats ahead. Hamilton's playoff hopes look very much alive after a 3-point victory in Montreal.
Kahari Jones is ready to play. Are you? Play $1 Million Touchdown to win at Safeway. If your name appears, you've won. $250 in Mark's Work Warehouse gift certificates with 170 locations across Canada. Mark's Work Warehouse. Or Porter Cable's 12-volt cordless drill driver kit with flashlight and 2 amp-per-hour batteries for more power and longer run time. Swipe your club card at Safeway and play $1 Million Touchdown to win.
It's the Molson Canadian Ultimate Road Trip on TSN. Hockey lives here. You and 3 buddies could get on board. 6 cities, 6 games in 9 days. Skate over to tsn.ca/Molson for your chance to win. I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
Hiya, honey.
What are you doing here?
I'm taking time for me.
Shouldn't you be at the office?
No, I'm smelling the roses.
Wait a minute. Where'd you go for lunch?
There's something so delicious about Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Suprema seasoned whole breast filet, processed mozzarella, and Parmesan sauce.
How was it?
Uplifting.
It takes you and chicken to a higher level.
Good. Now get back to work. Bye-bye.
Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme. It's better here. And our pickup window's open till midnight or later, so you can eat great even late.
An entertaining game 1 of the doubleheader is in the books. We now shift our attention to Skydome in Toronto, Ontario for a game between the Ottawa Renegades and the Toronto Argonauts. Dave Randorf with you, Chris Schultz, Matt Dunnigan, Jock Climby. So the Ottawa Renegades are now officially eliminated from playoff contention. They can now play spoilers against the Argos today, because if the Argos lose, they're out as well. Hamilton will take the last playoff spot. That's the football story. The bigger picture, of course, is the crusade for Parkinson's disease today and the appearance by Muhammad Ali. Here is Rod Black and Allison Smith.
Well, yes, thank you, Dave. A lot of excitement. Muhammad Ali, we can officially say, is now in the city of Toronto on his way to Skydome for the halftime show.
You can see he arrived just a short time ago at Pearson International Airport. He'll be making his way down here for the most amazing halftime show ever in a football game, I dare say.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities on hand, a very stirring tribute, and of course the main thing, raising money today for the benefit of research and hopefully to find a cure for Parkinson's disease, a disease that afflicts Muhammad Ali. Back to CFL Control.
Thanks, guys. The Argos take the field for a big game in many ways. Game 2 of our CFL doubleheader is next.
Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme is so delicious. With its 2 slices of processed mozzarella and Parmesan sauce on a seasoned whole breast filet, it's taking people to a higher level. Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme, it's better here.
It's the Molson Canadian Ultimate Road Trip on TSN. Hockey lives here. You and 3 buddies could get on board. 6 cities, 6 games in 9 days. Skate over to tsn.ca/Molson for your chance to win. I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
This is your husband.
Her husband's dead. Sorry. A fortune's missing.
Your husband stole $6 million. You look for it, you'll find it.
This fall, the fun is uncovering the truth. The truth about Charlie. At theaters Friday, October 25th.
Did you know a cracked or broken windshield compromises your vehicle structure and the effectiveness of your airbag? Not to mention your family's safety. Just one more reason to bring it to the experts.
Welcome to Skydome. And for the Argos, one last chance to keep a playoff dream alive against the Renegades.
Both coaches trying to keep the first game of this doubleheader and the news of who won or lost away from the team. Joe Palpa, I'm not sure if he's told his team whether or not they're out of the playoffs.
And Mike Clemens still has a shot, a win today for the Argonauts, and that keeps the playoff hopes alive. Still a chance for the Argos to overtake the Tiger Cats and finish second. But what the Argos have to do is win today and win out to finish the season. The Renegades won the toss and elected to take the football down near the 20. This is Damon Hodge. Slowed down, and that was enough to bring him down near the 30-yard line. It's been a tough year for the Renegades, behind the center in many ways. Dan Crowley was handed this football team. He had some early success, but it hasn't lasted. And he gets to start again this afternoon.
Yeah, early on in the season. In fact, starting the first 8 games of the regular season for the Ottawa Renegades. Crowley did that, and Chuck Clemens took over for him in week 11. He played until week 14, so it's been a bit of a revolving door at the quarterback position for the Renegades.
Ottawa begins first down at the 29. Josh Ronick for a couple. He is inside, or at least across the 30. And here's the way the Renegades line up with Oliver and Jones as the wide receivers, Hodge and Williams inside. Josh Ronick will run the ball, and Crowley will call the signals. A veteran offensive line, and Carl Coulter is the heart and soul of the Renegades up front.
Jimmy Oliver versus the Toronto Argonauts in game 2 this season, and 122 yards receiving.
5-pack in for the Argonauts. A flag goes down as Crowley takes off, and he'll be stopped short of the first down. Grabbed by Demetrius Maxey.
Had a conversation with the offensive line coming into this game for Ottawa. They say that front 4 is the best in the league. Johnny Scott back in the lineup after missing last week's game due to a concussion. And there is your secondary. Orlando Steinauer heading into this week led the CFL in tackles from the safety position.
And Joe Montford heating up a little bit for the Toronto Argonauts under Mike Pinball Clemens. Starting lineups brought to you by Midas. See Midas for all your car care needs.
Certainly has been heating up. Joe Montford under Mike Clemens as the head coach in the last 4 games has had a sack a game.
And under Echeverry prior to that, only 4 sacks in the first 12.
That's right. So 4 sacks in 12 games. Basically, if Mike Clemens was the coach all year, he'd be at 15 right now.
So Clemens has given Montfort the green lights to go after quarterbacks. Bit of a charge on the kick by Ivory. And this is Bashir Livingston returning for Toronto. Stops at the 38-yard line. It's Wendy's CFL Live. Second half of the doubleheader. We're live at Skydome.
Cholesterol is a tough opponent because even if you're in top shape, you could have a cholesterol problem and be hit by heart disease. So if one of these criteria applies to you, or if you have 2 or more of these risk factors, speak to your doctor about being tested for high cholesterol. You want to know more? Call this number or visit this website. Play like a winner. Get tested. It could change your life.
Go on a holiday? Or save on hot water. Holiday. Or use more hand-me-downs. Holiday. Or spend less on takeout. Why scrimp and save to get what you want? Shop smart and use your Air Miles reward miles. You want it? Air Miles. It's yours.
At Midas, we take care of leaks, alignment, brakes. If there's a problem, Midas will help find it. Last week, a guy came in, says his car was making a funny noise. Flying gremlin.
Flying gremlin?
All done. Actually, it was just a blocked hose. But you get the point. Total car care. Midas. We do that.
The Argonauts have had a revolving door at the quarterback spot most of the season. It's Jim Ballard beginning today. And Reggie Slack on the sidelines holding the clipboard.
Both teams have had a similar situation at the quarterback position. Just can't find a guy that takes the team and leads the way. Reggie Slack played a few games. He's injured now and not dressed today. Michael Bishop is dressed and in the lineup as the third-string quarterback.
First down for the Argos, facing a 5-pack of receivers. Robert Drummond breaks one. Drummond needs a block, may get it. Still on his feet as he crossed the 10-yard line. And submarine there by Dante Gamble.
Well, the only guy who had a chance at Robert Drummond was going to be the safety Donovan Carter. Look how far to the right he got. He was all caught in the wash. Well blocked at the line of scrimmage. John Terry with a nice kick-out block from the tackle spot, and Robert Drummond is off and running.
Incredible speed for a veteran running back. A 63-yard gallop, and the Argos are sitting pretty. First and goal to go inside the 10. They'll begin at the 8-yard line. Ballard looks to the end zone and fired it 10 yards through. So it's Ballard starting at quarterback with Ted Alford and Andre Talbot, the wide receivers. The number 1 receiver in Toronto is Daryl Mitchell. He's been that for years. Demetrius Bendros on the other side. Drummond to run the ball. He's done that well already. And up front, Chad Boak is the center of things with St. John and Annunziata as the starting guards for the Argos here today.
Daryl Mitchell, the key offensively in the passing game for the Toronto Argonauts. More on that in a moment.
He is the man. Ballard has Mitchell, and Mitchell is dragged down by Alfonso Roundtree.
When you look at this front seven for the Ottawa Renegades, Kelly Wilshire is the only player, in fact, the only player in the entire defense to have played every game for the Renegades. They're young up front. They played well, but they've been revolving door as well. And there's Gerald Vaughn back in the lineup, the halfback position, the leader in the secondary. Kelly Wilshire, the only guy to go the distance so far for the Renegades.
And typical of this Argonaut season is this situation right now. It's a third down after that brilliant 63-yard run. Should have set up a touchdown. The Argos settled for 3 from Noel Prefontaine.
Settled for 3, but a good start on a special afternoon, special game.
Well, I think so. I mean, the Argos are overwhelmed by what's going on here today. In some ways, a special day at Skydome. Muhammad Ali in person for the greatest good is part of this afternoon. The Argos are still trying to keep playoff hopes alive and concentrating on a football game.
And the reason that all the great guests that will be here at halftime will be here throughout this game are here is to find a cure and the cause of Parkinson's disease, a great cause, and the football game part of this whole story. But it's a good start for the Argos when they've got more viewers, more fans to get a good start to this football game.
And a wonderful 63-yard run. I was just suggesting they would have liked to have been in the end zone after that. Here's Crowley. And a flag is down as the catch is made by Damon Hodge right at midfield. 2 flags down on the far side. Orlando Steinauer over to make the stop.
Very confident throw from Dan Crowley to start this game. 3 quarterbacks are now basically auditioning for
Illegal
next year.
substitution. Toronto number 23. Penalties declined. First down.
Renegades will take the gain of 20 yards.
Chuck Clements had a chance, had 4 games in the lineup. O.T. Sampson to his right. All 3 quarterbacks are in an audition now. 2 games left in the regular season to show they have what it takes.
There's the reverse. Snapped up by the Argonauts, and there's nowhere to go. Ronick handed off to Reggie Jones. And guess who was waiting?
Ottawa Renegades have nothing to lose in this game. They can play spoilers and knock off the Toronto Argonauts, and so they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to try some different things. You're going to see Reggie Jones coming from this side of the field. Here he comes. But I guarantee you one thing. The Toronto Argonaut defense and their entire staff has said, look, this team has nothing to lose. Be alert for almost anything. Montford was there.
Montford was there, creating a 10-yard loss, and that makes this 2nd and 20. Crowley unloads in a hurry, far side, and he got hammered as Michael Fletcher burst through.
Well, Michael Fletcher is going to line up all over the defense for the Toronto Argonauts. Because Orlando Steinauer stays at the safety position, you're going to see Fletcher is going to come right off the edge. Basically, looks like he's lined up as a rush in. He gets down into a 3-point stance and is right there to deliver a huge hit on Dan Crowley. Those hurt.
So it's 3rd down. Renegades back at the 30, and that's Jimmy Cunningham waiting for the Argos. And his 20. Harper behind this one. It's not deep. Bouncing in front of the 30-yard line, and no return possible for Jimmy Cunningham. Argonauts have a 3-0 lead.
There's something wonderful about a hamburger. It's one of the few things that brings so much joy. Made fresh, hot off the grill, all juicy and delicious with your choice of fresh toppings, it lifts your spirits and makes everything okay. That's the kind of hamburger we make. Wendy's Classic Double with cheese. It's better here. And now Wendy's pickup windows open late so you can eat good.
We talk for hours at a time, and I came to my senses. You're more than a friend. You're my perfect lover. I'm gonna make you love me. I'm gonna dry your tears, and we're gonna stay together.
Introducing Polo Blue by Ralph Lauren, a new fragrance for men.
Wendy's CFL live from Skydome. The Argos have the lead, set up on a 63-yard run by Robert Drummond. Let's bring in John Lou.
Well, John, Robert Drummond made his mark in the game already, but he's playing with an awful lot on his mind. His grandfather, Calvin King, is in a hospital bed in Syracuse, New York, and as of yesterday, doctors only give him 24 to 48 hours to live due to a heart condition that's been brought on by his fight with lung cancer. Now, the Argos have given Drummond unconditional permission to leave in the event that something does happen, but Drummond has told us that he's committed to stay in the game. He will not leave until afterwards. He spoke with his grandfather today and got a little pep talk from him. Said that his grandfather said that he would wait for Robert to finish the game. So poignant moment, and Robert Drummond's playing with a heavy heart today.
Of course, Robert Drummond is from Syracuse, so he knows how to get back home as quickly as possible after this one is over to be with his grandfather. Argonauts looking at 2nd and 10. Ballard has time, far side. 2 receivers over there, and a heck of a catch by Daryl Mitchell.
We talked about more on Daryl Mitchell in a moment. Daryl Mitchell has got 907 yards receiving so far this year. The rest of the starters and backups in the lineup have less than 900 yards. And versus the Ottawa Renegades, Mitchell has been a one-man wrecking crew in the passing game. 10 catches, 228 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 2 games this year versus Ottawa.
19-yard gain there, and really when you look at it, it's Daryl Mitchell and the rest.
Well, that's exactly what it is. In fact, this is really amazing. When you look at Daryl Mitchell, 10 catches, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. There are 15 other Argo receivers listed in the stats right now. Some of them don't play on the team any longer, but altogether the 15 add up to those 9 catches for less, 100 yards less than Daryl Mitchell against the Ottawa Renegades. That's how important he is in the passing game.
Second down. Catch not made. Robert Drummond was the intended receiver of Jim Ballard there. And when you look at Daryl Mitchell, that is an Argonaut problem. I mean, they have one guy who is absolutely great, and they have been looking all season to find someone to complement him.
Because there are things you can do defensively if you just have one weapon in the lineup, and so Daryl Mitchell sees a lot of attention because of it. But you're absolutely right. That's one of the things that the Argos, win, lose, or draw this year down the stretch, are going to have to address in the offseason. Finding some talent to complement Daryl Mitchell.
Prefontaine sails this one. It'll trickle into the end zone and roll out for a single point. Dante Gamble really had no chance to make a play on a 58-yard boomer from Noel Prefontaine.
In Wendy's hometown, yoga class attendance is down, and the aromatherapy center is no more. But Wendy's is packed because our mozzarella chicken supreme, seasoned whole breast filet, processed mozzarella, and Parmesan sauce is so delicious, it's taking people to that higher level. And finally, the clothing optional run through the wildflowers has been canceled. Thank goodness. Wendy's mozzarella chicken supreme, it's better here. And remember, our pickup window's open till midnight or later, so you can eat great, even late.
It's Wood Pro bonus time at a steel dealer near you. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
How long will your car live? That depends on the proper maintenance of your car's vital fluids. You can depend on the fluid experts at Mr. Lube. Mr. Lube, doing it right before your eyes.
It's the Molson Canadian Ultimate Road Trip on TSN. Hockey lives here. You and 3 buddies could get on board. 6 cities, 6 games in 9 days. Skate over to tsn.ca/Molson for your chance to win. I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
From the voice and guitar of Dire Straits, this is Mark Knopfler. Mark Knopfler, The Ragpicker's Dream. His new album, on sale now at all A&B Sound, Sunrise Records, and Radioland locations.
Noel Prefontaine has all the points for Toronto so far this afternoon. Last week against Hamilton, he got the most important one.
Well, it was a crucial point for the Ticats. This was the point that won the game in overtime for the Toronto Argonauts and kept their hopes alive in the playoffs.
Prefontaine hammered it through for the extra points. And that's why the Argos are still fighting for a playoff spot here this afternoon.
And he is one kicker that steps beyond the box when you talk about kicker's reputation. He's on the outside of that box looking in.
Likes to get involved. Any chance he gets, Jimmy Oliver, and he's close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it. Adrian Smith covering on Oliver there.
Dan Crowley has got 3 games to show not only the coaching staff in Ottawa, Joe Powell, and the rest of the staff with the Renegades, but also the entire CFL, that the way he was projected heading into this season is the way he can actually perform. Crowley has basically had 10 starts. This is his 11th start with the Renegades. Through those starts, he's averaged around 51% and 183 yards. Thrown 14 interceptions, 11 touchdown passes. He got off to a great start. In his first 3 games, he had thrown 6 touchdown passes and just 1 interception. And then this team went through a bunch of injuries, revolving door at the receiver position, and the struggles began.
Crowley got the first down himself, rolling to his left with a flag already on the field. And reached ahead and came close to the first down. Leroy Blue might have been a little early, leaving the Argonauts defensive front.
And you know, John, when you look at the Ottawa Renegades season and you look at the expectations coming in, I think both Joe Powell and Eric Tillman, the general manager, thought 7 wins would be a good season. Their first 5 games, 2 wins in this first 5, and they lost 1 in overtime to Saskatchewan out of the gate. They got off to a pretty good start. Then they had a bunch of injuries, lost 5, next 5 in a row, and then won 1 of their last 5. And the points just keep dropping because of the inconsistency. This is a team that all season long, unlike any other team, didn't have anything to compare to. Every team in the league can say, hey, this is what we did last year. Here's where the holes that we filled from last year. And here's the personnel strengths and weaknesses. The Renegades didn't have that this year. They look back to last year and say, well, we didn't have a team. Here's how we put together a team, and then they hit some injuries, and expansion teams throughout the league haven't fared very well, other than the Baltimore situation where Don Matthews, who knew the league very well, stepped in and put together the type of team that would have success in Canadian football.
The Renegades have had their moments. They're sharing one right now. Another first down for Ottawa. Crashes around the right side after taking the pass from Crowley.
The other guy they lost, and this was after week 4 of the regular season, was Darren Davis. And you know, when you the head coach and you're trying to have something that you can hang your hat on offensively, Darren Davis was the guy. Then they lost him. Josh Ronick came in. He's played fairly well for them throughout the season. He had some fumble problems early on. But they lose their best offensive player after week 4.
2nd and 4 after Ronick picked up 6. This will be a first down as Maurer makes the catch, and he's down to the 26-yard line. Good protection for Dan Crowley.
Well, John, you know, one of the most consistent parts of this offense has been that big old line. They've got 3 from the Hamilton Tiger Cats this year, and Carl Coulter, the leader in the middle. Seth Dittman on the outside, number 64. He handles his man. Remember, this is a tremendous pass rush that the Toronto Argonauts have. So far this season, that Ottawa offensive line ranks 3rd in sacks allowed. They've only given up 18 in 15 games on an expansion team. That's pretty good.
Well, and really, the offensive line has been the strength of the Renegades first season. I mean, that's
on offense, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's been
found, I think, overall of the team, has it not?
Yeah,
I mean, the offensive line?
As a unit, yeah, as a unit.
And I mean, they found some people to play up front on defense.
Because of the consistency. Carl Coulter, the leader, has played every game. And that's what you need. Seth Dittman on the outside has played every game. Those are the guys that come over from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You know, other than Val St. Germain missing a game and George Hudson missing a couple, they've been together the entire time. And because of that consistency and the fact that there's some veterans mixed in there, pretty much all have experience in the CFL, you've got a chance for success.
Mike Maurer picked up 20 yards, and that sets the Renegades up with a first down here. Crowley gets to the 25, and that's about all.
So, you know, when you look at the strength of the Ottawa team this year, that offensive line, now the strength of the Argonauts is on the defensive side of the ball.
And particularly up front.
Yeah, and that's where this matchup tonight is fun to watch, because now you've got Demetrius Maxey, Johnny Scott, Joe Mumford, and they're going to play Reggie Gibbons up there too, and a little bit of Leroy Blue on the rotation. That's a pretty good group. So now you've got strength against strength in the trenches.
2nd and 8. Crowley is on the money, but well short of a first down. In fact, stopped right at the line. Jimmy Oliver slanting in.
You know, and the strength personnel-wise for these Argos on the defensive side of the ball, Orlando Steinauer, you know, maybe hasn't been talked a lot about. Michael O'Shea has played consistently in the middle. He calls the defenses and runs the show. And so, you know, Mike Clemens, as the head coach, can rely on the strength of his defense. As the general manager in the offseason, can likely say, you know, maybe we have trade bait on that side of the ball as well.
So the Renegades, with Tynes nailing the field goal from 32, get within a single point. Well, a special day at Skydome. Muhammad Ali in person for the greatest good. Let's bring in Rod Black with a few thoughts on that.
Thank you, John and Glenn, and alongside Allison Smith, we have the pledge line up. It's a pledge drive mounted all weekend in support of Parkinson's disease research, to fight a cure, to find a cure, and that's why Muhammad Ali is here today.
That's right. Parkinson's disease affects something like 100,000 Canadians, and Muhammad Ali is here to help win the fight for all of those Canadians, to find the cause and the cure for the disease, and he needs your help to do it.
Yeah, so dial 1-866-565-4-ALI. The operators are waiting, and we'll raise a lot of money for Parkinson's disease this weekend.
Very special halftime is planned here this afternoon.
Some impressive guest list, including Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield,
George Chiavello, Warren Moon.
Yeah, you want to stay and watch the entire extended halftime.
Lennox Lewis will be here too.
That's right.
So the Renegades, fairly impressive march for 3 points, and what might have been had the Montreal Alouettes been able to come back and beat the Tiger Cats this afternoon, but the Tiger Cats are fighting for their playoff lives too. So Lancaster and company needed a victory in Montreal today. Jimmy Cunningham, the Jet, takes out for the Argonauts. Good blocking in front, and he ran out of room on the far side.
Exactly what happened. He didn't look like anyone was going to tackle him. He just ran out of field, which is tough because in the Canadian Football League, the field's that much wider. We've got 65 yards of room. But Jimmy the Jet needed 66. He got to the outside, had lots of blocking help. Bashir Livingston out in front of him, and just ran out of room on that sideline. Big plays, one from Cunningham, one from Robert Drummond so far in the story of this game for the Argos so far.
That was a 52-yard return. Earlier, we watched a 63-yard run from scrimmage by Robert Drummond to set up Toronto's first points. And here's Drummond. Maybe 4 yards on that carry as he ran into the strength of that Renegades front.
Got off to the great start, and no surprise that Robert Drummond is going to be involved a whole bunch in the offense for the Toronto Argonauts. This is how Toronto started the game. The very first play, over 60 yards for Drummond, and they're going to go after them along the ground because John Grace, the best linebacker this year for the Renegades, is not in the lineup today.
On second down, Ballard looking for Mitchell. And that was Byron Capers, an ex-Argonauts, who got a hand in there.
Daryl Mitchell using a little bit of the waggle. You see how he tried to stem. That's called a stem, when the receiver goes to the outside and tries to make the defensive back think he's going to the corner, to the sideline, and then go back into the middle. That's how we did to try and get open early, but Capers reacted and went right through his hands.
Critical game for the Argonauts. They must win this afternoon to keep playoff hopes alive because of that Tiger Cat victory. Prefontaine was good on his first. This will be a 50-yard drive for Noel Prefontaine. And it rolls through the end zone, so Prefontaine ends up with a couple of singles on the afternoon and an early field goal.
You can have a big SUV or an SUV that's a big idea.
Mike Clemens, 2-2 in his second go-round as the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. He's won 2 and lost 2.
And would like next year to get off the sideline again, I'm sure.
I think so.
Coach in the offseason.
Both wins against the Tiger Cats, which is kind of interesting. First down, Ottawa. Wide open target. Aubrey Cummings, the ex-Stampeder, who is anxious to get back to Ottawa and his football roots.
You can tell the way that Dan Crowley is throwing the football. He's going to roll this way and then throw back across the middle. Big time roll out left, turn the shoulders around, and then crank it right over the middle. Tell the way that Dan Crowley's playing with this sense of urgency that it is a tryout for him. He doesn't want to go to camp next year and be designated the backup in day one. He wants to go in and compete for the starting job. He's got to play well for 3 weeks to do that.
Josh Ronick got a little push from behind for an extra yard and a bit. Eastern Division standings changed just a little bit as a result of action earlier this afternoon and that Hamilton win over Montreal. You see the Tiger Cats hanging around second where they've been all year, but now they have a 3-point cushion on Toronto.
Well, they've exercised a bunch of demons too. They won a game on the road for the first time this season, and that's huge for Hamilton. And that puts the pressure now on the Argos and Mike Clemens. He's got to find a way to win today to keep pace.
2nd and 6. And Crowley has a chance for the touchdown and gets it. Dan Crowley for Damon Hodge, who made the catch and then made the run after it.
Well, Adrian Smith closed his eyes. He either closed his eyes or didn't want a whole lot to do with this play because he's in coverage. Ball over the middle, kind of took a half shot. And that's not going to get it done.
Hey, don't get satisfied.
A 34-yard touchdown for Damon Hodge, his second in the CFL. And is blocked. Argos still have the ball. And this is Smith heading for the end zone.
Oh, baby. Adrian Smith in the right place at the right time to make the coaches forget about the missed tackle.
He missed the tackle and then takes it the rest of the way.
Tynes with a low driving kick. This one real low. In fact, I think that hit Mike Abu-Meshrik right in the back. I'm not sure that an Argo blocked that. There's the pitch. Adrian Smith just in the right place at the right time and trots into the end zone. But, and Adrian Smith, I'm telling you, is hoping that the coaches forget what happened the play before. And that's when Adrian Smith came up on Damon Hodge and kind of blinked, completely missed the tackle and the hit and the football.
And Hodge got into the end zone. Well, the block convert won't make it all go away, but it was an exciting play for the Argonauts.
Certainly was, and for the fans here who were vocal on that one. I don't think that kick had much of a chance. It looked like it just hit Mike Abumeshrik in the back. Really didn't have a chance to get up over for the extra point.
That does not happen very often. First of all, not very many converts are missed in the Canadian Football League, and not very many are blocked. Like field goals, they don't get blocked very often. Punts, yes.
Well, the reason they don't is because they happen so quickly. I mean, from the time the ball is snapped to the time the ball is kicked should be about 1.3 or less, and that's 1.3 seconds or less. Snap, pin, kick. And it happens so quickly, they're awful tough to block. But look at how low that ball was. In fact, that ball didn't get more than about 2 yards off the ground.
Well, the Argos claim 2 points back, but it's the Renegades in the lead on the touchdown just prior to that. Jimmy Cunningham stopped near the 35. 3 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. So 2 points for the block convert in return. And it's 9-7 Ottawa leading Toronto.
Jim Ballard's playing with some banged up ribs. Still feeling some of the effects of a concussion a couple of weeks back.
Other than that, he's 100% healthy.
And that's about 99% of the players at this time of year are going through something.
First down, Toronto, trailing by 2 now. Robert Drummond, 3, maybe 4 yards. Kelly Wiltshire made the stop there. 20 CFL live from Skydome, Toronto. And that's the end of quarter 1 with the Renegades leading the Argonauts 9-7.
You know, I wonder if Muhammad Ali has ever seen a CFL game, because he's going to see some things he's never seen before. And he's probably asking, what is going on here? Anyway, Toronto needs to win here, obviously, to keep pace with Hamilton, who won earlier today in Montreal. And they start very well, Schulte, with a veteran running back.
With Robert Drummond. If they can reproduce these type of plays, they're going to win this game. But it's also a bad play by the left defensive end for the Ottawa Renegades, Michael Barreau. Watch here. We're going to see him isolated on the play. It's an outside technique, but he has to take care of the inside seam to the left of the tackle, because Kelly Wiltshire has that outside. He takes the easy way out. They're around the outside. What does Robert Drummond do? He reads the play with great vision because his shoulders are square the line of scrimmage. Robert Drummond is going through a lot in his personal life. Sign of mental toughness to be at your best, even though you have some personal issues, Matty.
Yeah, Schultz, the Argonauts wanted to go to Drummond and go to him often.
Yes.
Kind of like the Renegades did with Darren Davis when he was healthy. When he went down, that's when the Renegades season took a turn for the worse, as did Dan Crowley's opportunity. But Crowley's got a chance to shine tonight again because Powell's gone back to his pivot. And here he shows off his running ability. He can make this happen better than any other candidates at the quarterback position for the Renegades. Then he shows off his strong arm and his poise. Stay in the pocket, setting up, throwing a strike to Mike Maurer. Dan Crowley is a quarterback of choice to Joe Powell. Early on in the season, when he lost Davis, they lost a lot from that offense. They couldn't utilize that offensive line. They had to go to the receiving core. That's been remantled. So it's a situation, Jacques, where Crowley gets a second chance.
And I think he deserves that chance. I think he's the guy for the future. If you're going to focus on one guy, it should be him. And for Toronto, of course, they're focusing on Jim Ballard right now. And he's probably not their first, second, or third guy they wanted, but he is the guy now. And what they want to do with him this game is get him to start throwing the seam patterns. And we saw him try it right here. Unfortunately, he missed his receiver, Mitchell, on that play. But in talking to Paul Mazzotti, Ottawa likes to play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and they feel that Ballard is very good at hitting his backside of the backfield, but not pushing the ball down the field.
Ottawa, of course, knew their situation, that they had no playoff hopes coming into this one, but it looks as though they've come to play spoiler. Big time.
Well, when you look at this Renegade season, the first half has been kind to Ottawa on many occasions. I mean, in 3 victories so far this season, a couple of overtime losses.
Yeah.
Joe Powell's team has been very, very close at halftime on several evenings.
And you got to admire what they're doing here today. They likely know that they're out of the playoffs. They didn't get that news until just before kickoff.
Second down.
You know, and yet they're still battling. And that, You know, you can say all you want that you have to be up for every single game and be a professional. But for Ottawa in this game to come out there and just before you kick the ball off, you think you still have an outside shot at the playoffs, and just before you get the tap on the shoulder, guys, Hamilton won. Yeah. And you're out of the playoff hunt. And now you've got to try and reach down a little deeper and find a way to go compete. And that's the bottom line, and that's what Joe Palpal wants to see no matter where they are in the standings. And he's seeing it so far from his team in this one tonight.
It was second down. Kelly Wiltshire batting down the ball. Fontaine is in on third down. Another boomer down near the 35. Alfonso Roundtree. A lot of running for not much. A 1-yard net return, and a penalty flag is down. Numbers from the opening quarter: 1 turnover, and that was on the block convert. Yards passing favoring the Renegades, 119 to 16, and net yards 136 to 93.
Well, Dan Crowley looked pretty good throwing the
Major
football.
foul, clipping, Ottawa number 2, first down.
Donovan Carter caught for clipping on the return, so that net 1-yard return is erased, and they'll march it off the other way. So Dan Crowley and the Renegades begin right at the 20-yard line. Roddick was the intended receiver, and it looked like he slipped just a little bit and wasn't ready for the pass.
Yeah, he stumbled. He stumbled as just prior to Dan Crowley throwing him the football. He stumbled a bit on the artificial turf and couldn't come up with it. Crowley has to time this up, try and lead it out in front of him so he can run with it. And you can see he was just gathering himself. That ball bounced off his right knee.
Crowley 7 of 9 for 119 yards and the 1 touchdown. This will be 2nd and 10 Ottawa. Crowley can't find anyone. There was pressure from Fletcher.
Well, and Fletcher wasn't the only one. He's the guy who comes clean. But you can tell when Orlando Steinauer is moving out of the middle that it's going to be, there's Fletcher off the edge, Reggie Gibbons there. He's just got to take up that block. He takes up Chris Burns, and that allows Fletcher to come free off the edge. When you blitz, you still have those responsibilities. Reggie Gibbons' responsibility as important as Michael Fletcher's, because without Reggie Gibbons, Fletcher is blocked.
So Harper is in, standing at his 5. Bashir Livingston back at his 45, ready to return.
Let him go!
Moving up, and flags come from all directions. I think they've spotted something down there. We'll tell you what it was when we return.
Did you know the air in your home can be up to 5 times more polluted than air outside? That indoor pollutants like dander can aggravate allergies and trigger asthma? What can you do? Get the Filtrete Ultra Allergen Reduction Filter. It's up to 30 times better than all other 1-inch filters at capturing airborne dust, bacteria, and pollen. And it meets Health House guidelines. If you don't take care of the air in your home, who will? Filtrete filters from 3M.
Okay, I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Well. Okay, bets, boys.
All right, first 5. I'm in.
I'm in. And I'll raise you 5.
It's good tonight. Who brought? Nobody brought. Not one of ours.
Yeah, right.
No, really.
McCain Rising Crust Pizza. Who can tell it from takeout?
So if nobody brought, then how'd it get here?
The final straight, and it's obvious this break's going to stay clear. Morse jumps to the front, but Zarella's getting a beautiful...
This is amazing.
It's a desperate move to the left.
Oh, man.
Lasso, but Morse in third place still...
Honey, go back. There. Okay, just let it run. Pause it right there. They never have sales.
Pause and replay live TV with the personal video recorder, only from Bell Express View. Try it today.
What's happening in the network today from Montreal to Toronto and then on to Dallas tonight for a little hockey action. The NHL on TSN continues. Capitals and the Stars right when we're done here at Skydome. Ottawa on top, 9-7. Jim Ballard at the controls for the Toronto Argonauts. Good on 2 of 7 for 16 yards. But when all the infractions were tallied up, it was no yards charged against Ottawa on a short punt, and the Argos are set up with a first down inside the Renegades 45. Ballard with 3 receivers to the near side. He goes over the middle. Dimitris Bendras makes the catch. Vander Holyfield is a 4-time world heavyweight champion, as you see, and he'll be part of the ceremony at halftime. A special day at Skydome. Muhammad Ali in person for the greatest good.
Well, I'll never forget that fight. Evander Holyfield against Mike Tyson the first time. And everyone, Mike Tyson heavily favored in that. And Holyfield came and surprised a whole lot of people.
Robert Drummond, no surprise there for Michel Boireau. Current world heavyweight boxing champion Lennox Lewis is part of the festivity here this afternoon as well. Back home in Canada, visiting friends in Brampton.
Just noticed that we have him on.
There you go.
It'll be quite a halftime ceremony. Of course, all to raise money for Parkinson's disease, so you can make a pledge.
Phone lines have been open all afternoon, and we'll get you that number in just a moment. Right now, the Argos on the measure get the first down at the 33 of the Renegades. Ballard looks deep. Bendras the target. He's got it for the touchdown. Well, I think they spot him at the 1, I guess. Do they? 1 inch. 1 inch. Yeah, I thought he was in. Anyway, can't get any closer than that. Dimitris Bendras.
Look at the pickup on the outside by Dwayne Morgan. That gives Ballard time to throw the football, and Dimitris Bendras catches it twice. Nice corner pattern. A little move to the inside, then back to the corner of the end zone.
He was controlling it at the 1-yard line, so they got it exactly right.
Yeah, George McCullough just couldn't catch up.
First and goal to go from the 1 for the Argos. It'll be no problem for Robert Drummond. He's in for the touchdown, but there is a marker on the far side.
Well, we'll wait and see this call. Oftentimes the defense is trying to guess the snap count and in that neutral zone.
Some spectacular plays here so
Offside.
far.
Ottawa.
Touchdown stands.
You know, that's great, and it's good for Robert Drummond, and maybe that touchdown, a game ball for Calvin King, his grandpa. Who before the game, when he talked to him, like John Lewitt mentioned, gave him the go-ahead to play and the pep talk for this game, and you know he's got a lot on his mind and got that touchdown, so good for him.
Kelly Wilshire is the injured Renegade.
Well, without John Grace in the lineup, the Ottawa Renegades, you know, if they lose Kelly Wilshire, it's a huge loss. And right now they're really just playing with 2 linebackers, Kelly Wilshire and Troy Asbell. Jason Kralt is also listed as a backup and will likely have to see some playing time in the linebacking core. They do have 2 extra defensive linemen dressed. And that's why Robert Drummond has been involved early and often in this game.
6 carries, 80 yards, and the touchdown for Robert Drummond.
Well, and he's coming off his best game of the season. You know, this for Robert Drummond is his 12th start. He basically started with the Argonauts when they played the Ottawa Renegades in the first game. So he's coming off his best game, and he's putting another one together already.
Kelly Wiltshire, the injured Renegade, still being tended to. We'll take a timeout at Skydome. It's a special afternoon on Wendy's CFL Live.
This update is brought to you by Nikon. Digital photography, Nikon quality.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. I'm Corey Warren. We'll get you back to the game shortly. But first, let's take a look at what's happening elsewhere in the world of sports this Sunday afternoon. Bills and Dolphins all tied at 10 when Ray Lucas gets picked by Nate Clements. He takes it 29 yards to the house. That would be the difference as the Bills upset the Dolphins 23-10. Broncos and Chiefs in overtime. Brian Greasy goes downfield to Rod Smith, but Eric Warfield is draped all over him. He gets called for pass interference. That would set up the game-winning field goal. The Broncos take it 37-34. NHL action. Avs and Ducks. Avs down 1-0, but they even it up on the power play. Rob Blake snaps it. Joe Sakic there for the tip. That makes it a 1-1 game with play in the first period. That's all we have for now, but stay tuned for the special halftime tribute to Muhammad Ali. It's all on the way.
Okay, I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Yeah. Okay, bets, boys.
All right, first 5. I'm in.
I'm in. And I'll raise you 5.
It's good tonight. Who brought? Nobody brought. Not one of ours.
Yeah, right.
No, really.
McCain Rising Crest Pizza. Who can tell it from takeout?
So if nobody brought, then how'd it get here?
Back at Skydome, it doesn't look good for the Renegades right now.
Kelly Wiltshire is right here, and he gets grabbed by John Terry, and Terry gets rolled underneath. And gets caught right in the wash. As it kind of came to hit that side. That's not good news for Ottawa, who short linebackers already.
Kelly Wiltshire on the sidelines being tended to as the Argonauts add one more to the total.
And like
14-9.
Like I mentioned, John, early in the game, Kelly Wiltshire, the only Renegade defensively that's played in every single game. And he's now on the bench.
Talking about a special afternoon. Once again, Rod Black with Allison Smith.
Well, thank you, John. Yes, I guess we're 10 minutes and 32 seconds away from Muhammad Ali's appearance at Skydome, and of course, Allison, to raise money for Parkinson's disease.
He's here to raise money for Parkinson's disease. There's an impressive array of athletes from every sport that are here for that cause, as are we, and we'd like you to join in that fight too, to find the cause and the cure for Parkinson's disease.
Call the number on your screen or the website as well, the address. There are a number of gifts that are available for your gift, and as we try to fight to find a cure for Parkinson's here at Skydome this afternoon. John?
We'll look forward to it at halftime. And right now, a little more action for the Argonauts, trying to keep alive their playoff hopes with a 14-9 lead on the Renegades. Decent return for Clifford Ivory, number 13, over to make the stop after a thick 32-yard scamper for Gamble.
Boy, week 7, Dante Gamble arrived on the scene for Ottawa, and in that game, that was versus Montreal Alouettes. So he was up against Keith Stokes in the return game. He came on as a special teams guy and had 185 return yards that game. And that cemented his spot in the roster. So there's a lot of elements in place for this Ottawa Renegade team when you look to next year.
And Crowley got rid of it in a hurry. Nigel Williams has his first reception of the afternoon. A lot of famous faces in the crowd.
Well, how about Muhammad Ali's sparring partner early on, Larry Holmes?
Former world heavyweight champion in his own right. He knows he's on. Welcome, Larry. gain is 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 Ottawa.
It's amazing when you read about all the different fighters, and a lot of them here, and the great ones, and how they all looked up to and admired Muhammad Ali.
Well, a lot of them looked up to him
from the back of the canvas. Yeah.
That position on the canvas that a boxer doesn't like to be in.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's from all sports that they're here. Quarterback Warren Moon, the Edmonton Eskimo great and NFL great quarterback, also in attendance.
Just about had the scoop on the signing of Warren Moon in Edmonton.
Is that right?
Way back when. But I was sworn to secrecy.
Oh, it was one of those, I can tell you something, but it's off the record.
Hugh Campbell, I may never forgive for that one. Anyway.
I'm going.
Livingston slowed, stopped, and finally dropped. -3 on the return, 39 on the punt. And Jim Ballard gets another crack at it when we return.
In Wendy's hometown, yoga class attendance is down, and the aromatherapy center is no more. But Wendy's is packed because our mozzarella chicken supreme, a seasoned whole breast filet, processed mozzarella, and Parmesan sauce is so delicious, it's taking people to that higher level. And finally, the clothing optional run through the wildflowers has been canceled. Thank goodness. Wendy's mozzarella chicken supreme, it's better here. And remember, our pickup window's open till midnight or later, so you can eat great, even late.
Hey, guys.
I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. I'm on my way.
I am Canadian. Montreal, you used to be winners. Now you're just whiners. Boo! We are different. We are friends. Shut up. You're not even real French anyway, like those guys from Denmark, man. In Vancouver, we're real. Yeah, the championship BC Lions, they're really gonna kick some Alouette butt. Poutine sucks. BC rules.
CFL, the rivalry lives on.
What's up, dudes?
2 more Wendy's Friday Night Football evenings ahead on TSN. Saskatchewan and Edmonton coming up.
Speaking of Hugh Campbell, maybe you have a chance. You can go talk to him once more time about that scoop you had on Warren Moon.
Well, it was one of those things. John, I'd like you to meet Warren Moon. Oh, hi, Warren. Nice to see you. Don't say a word.
Can't say anything.
Can't say anything. We're announcing the signing on Tuesday. Oh, perfect, Hugh.
Warren Moon played all right for the Edmonton Eskimos through that stretch.
Absolutely.
Had a pretty good run. He's got a handful of rings to prove it.
Well, and that was the beginning of the Eskimos stocking of the Canadian Football League with all the quarterbacks that have come along. And, following Warren Moon, Matt Dunnigan, and Damon Allen, Tracy Ham. Robert Drummond, with couple there, but he had a great run earlier.
Well, with all the stars here, it's great that the Argos have been able to come up with some big plays. This is how they started the game with Robert Drummond over 60 yards, the very first play. And, there's a lot of fans watching this game that haven't been watching Argo football. They've also seen a blocked extra point go all the way the opposite direction for a 2-point convert for the Argos. So some big plays that some fans that maybe haven't watched a lot of Argo football this year are getting to see today.
Allen got it away to Montreal and just.
And they're seeing a fairly close and well-played game, and mostly defensively right now. And Jim Ballard, the Argo quarterback, playing through some pain here in this one, is something that Mike Clemens, no matter how they finish this year, is going to have to address in the offseason. And Reggie Slack also part of the plan, and whether or not he comes back next year will be a question that will be asked early and often in this offseason for Mike Clemens. Dave Dickinson may be available and a quarterback on the market. Doug Flutie's name has been thrown around for next year.
Here's Noel Prefontaine's punch down at the 35. Returned by Dante Gamble. It'll be 1st and 10 Renegades when we return.
We talked for hours at a time, and I came to my senses. You're more than a friend. You're my perfect lover. I'm gonna make you love me. I'm gonna dry your tears, and we're gonna stay together.
Introducing Polo Blue by Ralph Lauren, a new fragrance for men.
Joe Paupau's Renegades out of the playoffs as a result of Hamilton's win this afternoon. Shaking his head down there, and here's John Lou.
I'm here with Brad Waters, president of the Ottawa Renegades. And Brad, a very nice show of generosity from the club prior to kickoff. Tell us about it, would you?
Well, we decided to donate $10,000 to Parkinson's. We thought being a new team in the league and being here for this special event, that'd be important to contribute. And with our great support we've had from our fans, that'd be a good gesture for us to go forward for the Argos and for Parkinson's.
Well, Brad, early in the game, I guess you and your team found out, unfortunately, that the season's officially over. But looking back over the season, what are you going to consider with pride?
Well, I think a lot of things, and the first thing's the fan support. Our fan support in Ottawa has been great. We know we're here to stay now. We're through that first hurdle, and as an expansion team, we've played hard every game, and I think we should have a lot of pride in our team and continue to play these games and keep winning, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for this, Brad. Best of luck next season.
Thank you.
Josh Ronick with a respectable carry there, and when you look at the Renegades' inaugural season, they really have to be pleased with what they've accomplished. Brad Waters, his staff, well, top to bottom.
I know for the people so close, Brad Waters and the coaching staffs and the players, it's tough to see the good that they've done in the league because of the frustration for not winning as many games as they would have liked to. But and especially when they got off to such a good start, and the expectations after a couple of wins in their first 5 just shot through the roof, and they thought, hey, maybe Ottawa can just take a great run in the East. And then they went through the regular growing pains that an expansion team will go through.
And they hit some injuries too.
Well, that's right, and so because of that frustration and the losses over the last 10 games.
Procedure, no end, Ottawa.
You know,
still second down.
I would say due to that frustration, it's hard for guys like Joe Paupau to see the good that they have done. You know, when you look across the country and the addition of the Ottawa Renegades and a football team in Ottawa, it's amazing. It's a great story. The fan support has been outstanding all season long, and they will have a football team before long.
Well, here's the other positive thing that you haven't mentioned is the Ottawa Renegades are going to break even in their inaugural season.
That's fantastic.
Crowley from behind. It's loose. Big Joe Montford set it up, and the Argos have recovered.
One of Joe Montford's heroes growing up was Muhammad Ali, and I'm sure he's playing inspired knowing that he's here in the building. And he comes off the edge, and Montford right here with the great speed. Joe Montford has made a living in the CFL doing what he just did to Seth Dittman. Come around the corner with speed that just is too hard and too quick to handle for those big offensive tackles.
Johnny Scott diving for the ball, number 72, after Montford cranks it loose.
See Johnny Scott just manhandle Josh Reddick. He just threw him to the, Ronick, I should say, and throw him to the side. And when you look at prior to Pinball Clemens taking over the team, and since Mike Clemens has taken over the team, it's been the tale of 2 stories for Joe Montford. 4 sacks in 12 games, 4 sacks in 4 games.
No sack there, but he created the fumble, and that's even better. When you look at it from the Argos point of view, another frustrating afternoon for Dan Crowley. He played the Argonauts in August and threw 4 interceptions in a losing cause, so the Renegades went to Chuck Clements for the September meeting between these 2 teams, and he threw 4 interceptions in a losing cause.
Between both quarterbacks, they just threw 1 touchdown pass, and You know, these quarterbacks have had time to throw the ball throughout the season. We talked about the consistency in the offensive line, and as you see the veteran in that group, Carl Coulter trying to...
I'm laughing at Carl because somebody tried to give him a hand off the field and he just pushed him aside.
Yeah, no, you don't want to... No.
I'll get up under my own steam.
You know, and you look up leader in the dictionary, and there'll be a couple of pitchers, you know, maybe a Mark Messier, maybe Carl Coulter is one of the pitchers in there.
I would think so.
Yeah.
On top of leadership, just a wonderful guy to be around. Right now, though, the Argonauts are first down. Bendras has the catch, heading for the end zone. Demetrius Bendras, can he get there this time? Flags are down, and Bendras got hammered out of bounds on the far side.
You know, Demetrius Bendras on the crossing pattern really just absorbed this hit. He was going to get smacked as he came across the middle. Absorbed that hit from Alfonso Roundtree. Oh! See what the penalty flags are for.
Well after the catch was made and substantial yardage gained by the Argos, the flags came down.
Andre Talbot was over there trying to get a block downfield for Demetrius Bendras. I'm not sure if it was an illegal block. They move him back away from the goal line. They didn't make the announcement, but I believe that was the call.
Had to be an illegal block from the area where the flags were thrown, and this is a Toronto first down. Ballard stands in and was a little short on the toss intended for Talbot. Andre Talbot, 20 receptions, 200 yards for the Argos this season.
Well, there was blocking from Andre Talbot down near the end. Let's take one more look. Here's the crossing pattern. Bendras has it there. You're going to see right up at the top of your screen, right there, the legs and Talbot working one-on-one there on George McCullough. Not sure if he didn't get held there a little bit and then push that game back, because Bendras was right down to the 1 yard line.
Second and 10. Drummond running extremely well this afternoon. He'll have another first down after a 12-yard gain there.
That's inspiring to see.
Drummond cracked one for 63 yards from scrimmage in the opening quarter.
With what he's going through, it truly is inspiring to see an athlete push himself and be as mentally tough as Robert Drummond has to be right now to be able to be performing the way he is.
First and 10, Toronto. Drummond again, down to the 5.
I mentioned that game last week, a game that was a must-win for the Toronto Argonauts against Hamilton. They took it to overtime, won in the extra period, and he had 118 yards and a touchdown. And it was the first 100-yard game for the Argonauts and for Drummond, and it came at a perfect time. And now it looks like Drummond is starting to roll. And if he can get rolling and they can keep pace, you never know what can happen.
Drummond again tries the right side this time, and very little air. Grabbed by Troy Asbell, 94.
You know, the reason I say that too, John, is that when you look at the standings, Hamilton won. They still have that 1-point lead and have control. Here's how Drummond started. If he gets rolling as this season winds up here, Robert Drummond could make a lot of noise if the Argos can get into the playoffs, because he's been in the playoffs a bunch. He knows what it takes once you get to that level. You know, and the Ticats still have control of their destiny because they have that one extra point that they got in overtime last week.
Yeah, and currently lead the Argos by 3.
But they slip up next week. The Argos can win this one. Watch out.
Hamilton has a date with Winnipeg.
Toronto plays Calgary.
And the Stampeders are out of the playoffs, so that's what you have to be thinking if you're the Argonauts. Win today and then take a shot at Calgary, a team that is a little dispirited, quite likely being out of the playoffs. Then again, you never do know, because you're watching Ottawa here this afternoon, and they still have a little something to show, don't they? Sports Center, the next edition with Pollard and Sunil Joshi coming your way at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific time. And all the highlights from football, National Football League as well, a little hockey, throw that in too.
Probably some highlights from...
Is there a little baseball tonight?
Well, there's probably some highlights from the halftime show here as well. And probably some shots of some of the stars that are in attendance.
Giving up a field goal and a 17-9 advantage for the Argonauts. The Renegades are out around midfield with 3 minutes to go until a special halftime ceremony.
It's time we talked about boys and girls.
Butter tarts, $4.
See, these urges get stronger when, like a bumblebee, pollinates
Canoe
a flower.
rental, $50.
Well, it's a hormonal thing. Look, a loon.
Binoculars,
The man and the woman
$110.
Well, they fit together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle.
A country full of distractions, priceless.
Is that Bigfoot?
There are some things money can't buy. For cottage country, there's MasterCard.
You can have a big SUV or an SUV that's a big idea.
What will the landscape of Raw look like one day after No Mercy? Who will enter Monday night carrying the World Heavyweight Championship? Triple H has tried for weeks to distract Kane with mind games.
Kane is a murderer.
But has the champ merely added fuel to the fire that burns inside the challenger?
The membrane machine has snapped!
And what is the real story behind Kane's tragic past?
WWE Raw. Monday at 9, TSN.
Well, there's a great football game, but there's a great halftime show coming up, and of course the tribute to Muhammad Ali. And we're here. I know I'm an unusual face to see on your television screen during a football game, but we're here because of Parkinson's disease and the need for your money to find the cause and the cure.
And they're talking between 5 and 7 years of potentially finding a cure for this disease that has also tried to take down the champ, Muhammad Ali, in less than 3 minutes, a special halftime show. And Evander Holyfield, I just saw him downstairs. It's his birthday. John Wells and Glenn Suter, they had a birthday cake for Evander Holyfield just downstairs a few minutes ago. So happy birthday, Evander.
All right, happy birthday, Evander Holyfield. Good job.
Ali is the greatest, and that's the belief of so many who have followed this wonderful athlete through so many years. 2 minutes and 30 seconds till halftime.
Well, Leroy Blue jumped offside there, but he was pointing that...
Offside. Toronto 89. Still first down.
He was pointing that the opposite side of the offensive line moved first. Didn't win that argument with the officials. So Ottawa will get a nice opportunity to get 1st and 5. A lot of different things you can go with. Play action works well in this situation because 5 yards, the running play is likely.
Crowley looks to go deep. He's got a target open and overthrew Denny Montana by about 3 yards.
Looked like Dan Crowley's hand was hit just as he threw that football. He had protection early as he dropped back in shotgun. Decided not to go with play action, although he had Josh Ronick standing right beside him. He just dropped straight back out of that shotgun and like he hit Seth Dittman's helmet. Right after he threw this ball, looked right down at his hand, and Joe Mumford pushed Seth Dittman right into Dan Crowley.
Get him, get him, get him.
That will be enough for a first down on 2nd and 5. Reggie Jones makes the catch.
Well, it was a throw to the wide field, so it looks like Crowley's hand is okay. He looked at the back of it, but didn't look like he had a problem gripping the football to get it out there to Reggie Jones.
Again, here are the expansion Renegades hanging in, heading to halftime. well, have been spectacular. Crowley ended up on the turf after getting a long toss away.
Denny Montana went to the corner of the end zone, and it was Clifford Ivory who's playing the deep outside third zone, and he's just going to run down, get underneath this football, and just be enough of a nuisance to Denny Montana to cause him to drop that ball.
So Crowley, with 2:03 on the clock, looks at 2nd and 10.
Crowley's changing the play.
3 receivers to the near side out of the cover. It's Aubrey Cummings making the catch. He'll get the first down. And the Renegades keep the drive alive.
That's a nice audible from Dan Crowley. He recognized the blitz was coming from Michael Fletcher again. The guy who Michael Fletcher was lined up over was Aubrey Cummings. So now Crowley, see, he goes to the line, he sees Fletcher, he goes, okay, wait a minute. I got an open receiver because I know I'm going to see blitz. So he changes the play on the line, he takes the football, now he just has to get out of there in a hurry. He does for the completion in the first down.
Aubrey Cummings picks up 17 yards. Ronick got it.
You know, that's
he sold it pretty well.
Well, Dan Crowley sold you. Dan Crowley got you, because that's what quarterbacks have to do after they hand the ball off, is to continue out like they still have the football. And you know what that sets up is it sets up the play action, like you said. See, this is what you got to do. This is a quarterback. He gives it to him now. Crowley will take off and continue to run out there like he has the ball. And the thought is maybe you take one defender with you as the quarterback, and then the next play we go to play action, and I'll fake it to the running back and keep it myself.
It didn't work. It's a loss of about a yard. Jimmy Oliver makes the catch and turns this into a first down.
Talk about tough weeks. Jimmy Oliver, yeah, the Ottawa Renegades had to bye, so they didn't play last week, and Oliver had to go that extra time knowing that he put the ball on the ground and a chance for Ottawa to go into overtime versus the Edmonton Eskimos in their last game. It was going into overtime. Oliver caught a hitch pass. He had about 16 yards to go for a first down, dropped it. Edmonton recovered and kicked a field goal to win in regulation. Without that fumble, the Ottawa Renegades at least get a point.
Ronick pitches it back. Crowley looks to the end zone for Oliver. Jump ball. No catch. Well, it wasn't quite the play action, but Ronick took the handoff that time and tossed it back to his quarterback.
Well, you know why it didn't work quite as well as Ottawa would have liked it, is because it happened so quickly. Here's the play. Running back goes in and then pitches it back. But it happened so fast that the defensive lineman didn't get a chance to react, so they continued on in their pass rush. No one was really fooled in the secondary, including Adrian Smith, who really had the best chance of the football at the other end.
Montford got to Crowley. 2nd and 10. Crowley looking for 6. At the 5-yard line. And that was Jimmy Oliver again.
Adrian Smith almost went the other way with that one. Jimmy Oliver waited on that football. He was standing outside waiting for that one to come to him. If he steps forward, he may have a chance to catch it.
So the Renegades will settle for a field goal try from 20 yards out. And behind it, he's got it.
Well, if the Ottawa Renegades didn't find out prior to kickoff that they've been eliminated from the playoff picture, they will at halftime. That's a certainty. And now it's up to Joe Paupow to try and continue to keep the intensity level that he's seen from his team in the first half. Yes, they're behind, but they played pretty well considering the circumstances they're under. And that's where he relies on the leaders. And that's where Joe Paupow looks to Dan Crowley, who's got that type of mentality. He looks to Carl Coulter, guys like that, to help him out, keep that intensity up. And the Argonauts, well, for when he goes in, Mike Clements, into the locker room, all his speech has to be is to show the score of the Hamilton-Montreal game and say, okay, here's the score. 29-26 was the final, which means Hamilton won, guys. Do I need to say anything else?
Yeah, we have to win this game.
You have to win. And that's the bottom line. So the speech can be short, although I don't think that Mike Clements has many short ones in his repertoire.
Do you remember Mike's farewell on this very field? That was not a short speech.
No,
Argos have recent Grey Cup memories of victories in 96 and 97, and since then it's been a bit of a struggle.
Well, they've gone through a bunch of head coaches and had to make a coaching change midway through last year, and Mike Clements took over, John Heward, and then had to do it again this year. So until they can find some consistency with that respect, get a coaching staff in place that will be here all season long, that has a bit of a reputation and experience, the struggles will likely continue. That's the first step.
Cut down in his tracks on a nice tackle by Darren Joseph.
You know, and then for Toronto, once you get your coach in place, then you've got to try and find the quarterback. Now, maybe Jim Ballard can become a good quarterback in this league, but he's not there yet. And as the Argos look at this offseason, and then their season's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination yet, but that's their concern. Head coach first, starting quarterback that's going to be the quarterback they're going to have for a few years here in Toronto second, and build from there.
No chance to get it away. Jerome Haywood, number 99, was through, and Ballard a little upset.
You know what he did?
Somebody missed an assignment.
Well, what happened was Ballard saw the pressure, the receivers didn't. Ballard wanted to throw it hot. Play action, now he's ready to get rid of it, and his receiver on the outside did not see what he saw. That was Ted Alford. Alford just ran straight down the field, and Alford didn't check that one off and recognize the blitz that Ballard recognized.
Drummond tries to break one on the outside. Took a huge hit from Roundtree. Also over there was Troy Aspel.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with a couple of things. You know, how Robert Drummond's battling through his personal situation, and how the Ottawa Renegades are battling through the fact that they likely know their season as far as the playoffs go is over, and they're still out there competing. And that's one thing coaches will look for. When it's all said and done and you are facing adversity, how do you react then? And they're playing pretty well in this first half.
Well, the Renegades are close again at halftime. The Argonauts looking to win and keep playoff hopes alive. There's one half of football to go on a very special day at Skydome. Mohamed Ali in person for the greatest good is coming up at halftime. Let's send you back to Dave Randall.
Thanks very much, Wellesley. Yeah, Suits is right. Ottawa competing very hard. Robert Drummond running very well for the Argos, and it's a 5-point game with a lot on the line for Toronto and Hamilton, who won earlier today in Montreal. But all of that will be put aside for the next 18 minutes or so while we pay tribute to one of the greatest ever, Muhammad Ali, at Skydome as we fight for a cure for Parkinson's disease. Here again is Rod Black and Allison Smith.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. And a lot of money has already been raised, and we hope to raise a lot more by calling 1-866-565-4Ali. In a few minutes, the champ is going to be here, along with a few other champions, a few other superstars as well.
Well, if nothing else is going to make you pick up your phones this afternoon, this event should. This is the highlight and the climax of a weekend of fundraising for Parkinson's disease, a disease that affects more than 100,000 Canadians of Canadians, and of course many, many more. Their loved ones and their families who have to live with the burdens of what this disease does.
And earlier in the pregame, we were treated to a Canadian musician, the great Tom Cochrane, whose father has Parkinson's disease and wrote a song. The song is called Just Like Ali. It was just cut, and he performed it earlier tonight.
Parkinson's disease is something that has affected Tom Cochrane, and perhaps it has affected someone you know. It is the second most common form of neurodegenerative disease in this country, in a family with Alzheimer's disease and Lou Gehrig's disease. It is a disease that it's predicted over the next generation or so, those neurodegenerative diseases could affect as many as 1 million Canadians. So that's why we're asking you to pick up your phones this afternoon.
It has affected, of course, Michael J. Fox, Canadian actor, and of course it has affected Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali was a man who used to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He doesn't do that anymore. He used to badmouth some opponents at one time, but he has done so much good. And this afternoon, here's Muhammad Ali, the person, for the greatest good.
Now, Argonaut fans, please welcome the acclaimed Olympic broadcaster, Brian Williams, at center stage, who will begin today's ceremonies.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone here at Skydome, and welcome to viewers coast to coast tuning in here this afternoon on TSN. We're all here today to acknowledge the man that is regarded as the greatest athlete of the 20th century. And in doing so, we hope to put a face on and raise funds for the fight against Parkinson's disease. Now, this is especially important to me, as my late mother was a person with Parkinson's. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, will be out here in just a minute. Prior to bringing out Ali, we have some special guests to introduce here this afternoon. Let me begin with a Juno Award-winning Canadian rocker who performed for the crowd here at Skydome prior to the football game this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, his father suffers from Parkinson's. Once again, please welcome Tom Cochrane. On Thanksgiving Day, he scored his 400th career goal in the National Hockey League at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is the 17th captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Please welcome Matt Sundin. At the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, Australia, this remarkable young man won Canada's first ever gold medal in freestyle wrestling. In 2000, he was the Lou Marsh winner as Canada's Athlete of the Year. Please welcome the amazing Daniel Daly. He played for the Edmonton Eskimos. He guided the Eskimos to Grey Cups from 1978 through 1983. He played in the NFL with Houston, Minnesota, Seattle, Kansas City, and was a 9-time Pro Bowl selection. Ladies and gentlemen, Warren Moon. He's a former sparring partner with Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion of the world from 1978 through 1985. 20 title defenses. He won 48 straight fights before his first loss, missing by one Marciano's record of 41 straight. From Easton, Pennsylvania, please welcome Larry Holmes. This next gentleman is the first ever man to go the distance with Muhammad Ali. It was March 29th in this city at 1966 at Maple Leaf Gardens. He was in the top 10 in the world longer than any other heavyweight in history. He fought 96 times, 68 wins by knockout, former Canadian champion George Chavanon. A bronze medalist at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. He KO'd Buster Douglas in 1990 to win the heavyweight title. He is a three-time heavyweight champion of the world from Atlanta, Georgia, Evander Holyfield. In Seoul, Korea in 1988, he won Canada's first gold medal in boxing since Horace Lefty Gwynn way back in Los Angeles in 1932. He won the heavyweight belt over Razor Ruddock in London in 1992. Ladies and gentlemen, he demolished Tyson in 2002. Please welcome the heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the Dome, viewers at home will see this on videotape. For those of you here in the Dome in Toronto, I would ask you to turn your attention to the Jumbotron at the north end of the stadium for a very special message and introduction.
Canada, today you honor one of the world's great men. You do this as a nation of compassionate people, committed to the betterment of humanity. Muhammad Ali has devoted his life to what we all value dearly, freedom. Once it was freedom from hatred and bigotry. Today, it is also freedom from an insidious disease. I'm certain this story will be told for generations to come of the man from Louisville, Kentucky, braver and faster than the rest, who made his way from modest beginnings to spectacle to glory, then to humility. He's a true hero for the entire world. Let our hearts be with him today as he infuses hope for those families who have been afflicted with this soul-destroying disease. Ladies and gentlemen, for the benefit of Parkinson's research, won't you please welcome on his return to Canada, my friend, the people's champion, Muhammad Ali.
Ladies and gentlemen, Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, before hearing from the greatest athlete in the 20th century, we have greetings from our guests on stage, and we begin with the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mats Sundin. Mats?
Mr. Ali, sir, it's a great honor for me to welcome you to our city. Canada salutes you. I brought you a gift. This is the official uniform of this city. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. Welcome to Toronto, Muhammad Ali.
Please welcome a remarkable young man who has represented this country with grace and dignity. He has an amazing story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, Olympic champion Daniel Igale.
Growing up in Nigeria, I never knew that Muhammad Ali was from the United States until I was in high school. For the longest time, I thought he was Nigerian because of how popular he was. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee was a line that even people who did not understand English could recite. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, for me transcends boxing and sports. As a kid, he was a role model because of his skills on the boxing ring. Since then, he has become a beacon of confidence, hope, and destiny. He stands for the fun and goodness of sports. Meeting Muhammad Ali today definitely ranks as one of the best days of my life.
The Edmonton Eskimos have a great shot at winning the Grey Cup this year. Here's a man who knows a thing or two about winning Grey Cups in Alberta. Please welcome Warren Moon.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say it's always great to be back in Canada, the country that gave me my start in professional football. I want to thank everyone in this building tonight and in the country of Canada for getting behind the fight of Parkinson's disease and for honoring a great champion in Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali epitomizes what a champion is all about and what every one of these athletes up here aspires to be. I know growing up in the early 70s, as I struggled trying to play the position of professional football, it was his strength and his courage that continually gave me inspiration to keep fighting and keep proving that I could play the position. So I thank you, Muhammad, for being a consistent inspiration for me as far as playing a role in my career, and I help you in the fight for Parkinson's disease so we can find a cure because it afflicts so many different people all over the world. Again, Canada, thanks for your support of me, thanks for your support of Muhammad Ali, and thanks for your support of Parkinson's disease. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Warren. Ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia, Evander Holyfield.
Ali, I like to say that when I was 8 years old, I was inspired because my boxing coach told me I could be just like you. And right today, there's many children. Right today, many children in this world are very inspired by the commitment that you have to fight against Parkinson's disease. It takes more than an athlete, more than a man, to stand up each and every day, to give your all, to support someone else. I'd like to thank you for inspiring me to be the man that I am, and I'm sure all the children around the world would like to thank you as well.
I remember a quiet young man in 1988 that came into our Olympic studios in Seoul, Korea, as Canada's first gold medalist in boxing since the Los Angeles Olympics, Horace Lefty Gwynn, way back in the 1930s. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Let them pay for it. It's a great honor being here to give honor to a great champion, Muhammad Ali. Since I was a young kid, I used to spend time in front of the TV with my mother, and we used to watch Muhammad Ali, and I used to be so into Muhammad Ali. I used to want to do what he did. I wanted to emulate him, and you know, even to this day, Muhammad Ali is a champion. And I believe he's the greatest. Lennox Lewis is a champion. That's right. And all you people out there can be champions as well by pledging. You know, get on the phone and pledge for Parkinson's. You know, it's a bad disease and we want a cure, we want to find a cure for it. So make sure you get out there and pledge. Once again, thanks for everybody's support out there, and enough blessings for all you and Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
Muhammad just leaned over to Howard Bingham, his lifelong friend, and said, "Don't worry, I wasn't going to hurt him." These next two gentlemen have both been in the ring with Muhammad Ali. It is a pleasure to welcome from Easton, Pennsylvania, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. Larry?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, back in 1971, I had a dream to come true. I met the legend, a great fighter, a great human being. I met Muhammad Ali. And when I met Muhammad Ali, he gave me an opportunity of a lifetime to work with him in a little town called Reading, Pennsylvania. We worked, and he punched me right in my eye. And I had a black eye. But that didn't bother me. I wouldn't let no one put ice on it because I wanted to show it off to all of my friends, to let them know that I got a black eye from Muhammad Ali. that was one of the greatest days in my life. And not only that, my life continued to work with him for 4 years as a sparring partner. In the gym every day, and believe me, I learned a lot from this guy. I learned how to take it, I learned how to give it, and I learned how to be humble to people. And he is one of the most humblest person I ever met in this game of boxing. And one of the saddest days of my life is when I had to fight him in 1980, because I was fighting a friend, I was fighting an idol, and I was fighting somebody that I loved over the boxing years. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, he's still the man that we all love and we all care about. We're all going to give him all our support. I just want to thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to be here to just say what I just said, and keep supporting the sickness that could affect all of us. I want to say thank you and enjoy the rest of the game. My champ, Muhammad Ali, y'all. Bad man.
We are here this afternoon saluting a legend. It is my pleasure to introduce a friend and a Canadian legend. Ladies and gentlemen, he's still standing, George Chuvalo.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, boxing's a kind of a crazy way to make friends. I fought Muhammad Ali 27 rounds, and we became friends. And I know he's my friend. When I lost my second son to drugs, and I lost my wife within 4 days after that, some of my friends in Western New York, some of my colleagues in the boxing business, got together and decided to call a whole bunch of friends of mine from Canada, United States, and get together in Rochester for a function. They called Muhammad Ali. They didn't have to call twice. Muhammad Ali is my friend, my true friend, my friend forever. Thank you. And thank you very much for supporting Muhammad Ali and his fight against Parkinson's disease. Thank you very much.
Is he a fullback or a quarterback?
Ladies and gentlemen, he was a gold medalist at the 1960 Olympics in Rome, Italy. There was the title fight with Sonny Liston in 1964, the fights with Chuvalo here in Toronto and in Vancouver. The Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman, possibly the greatest heavyweight fight of them all, the Thrilla in Manila with Joe Frazier. 6 years ago, he courageously lit the flame to open the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been to 10 Olympics. It will always be a moment I will never forget. For good reason, you are revered as an athlete. To me, you are even more respected as a man of conscience and a man of tremendous courage and dignity. Your good friend, Milt Dunnell, a legendary sports columnist here in Toronto, writing in the Toronto Star yesterday, quoted you this way: "I'm going to help my people. I use my fists so I can get to where I can use my mouth." Ladies and gentlemen, boxing has indeed served its purpose. It is an honor to introduce Muhammad Ali.
I know you might not believe me. I'm lost for words. I don't know what to talk about. I'm here because I was invited. I'm here because I was the greatest. And now, I'm no longer the greatest. I used to be the greatest. He's the greatest. He's the new champ. And I might make a comeback. Come back to my senses. Thank all of you all for coming out. I wish I could stay longer. When I started boxing, I used to watch boxing on television, and the boxers never do much talk. They were quiet. I said, I'm going to be different. I'm going to do a lot of talk. What you say about Frazier? You said something about Frazier. I said, I'm going to be different. I'm going to do something. I'm going to write poems, predict rounds. When I first started listening, when I first came on the scene, I predicted round 8. I said, you'll fall in 8. He fell in 7. "13 fights I had. I predicted the second round. I did it in poetic fashion. I wrote a poem about it. Now, I'm enjoying retirement. I'm glad you all came out to see me. I wish I could shake all of your hands. But God bless you. And I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you something else. I say this, and this is no joke. I drink Coke. I love you, Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you here at Skydome, I direct your attention to the northwest corner, just beside the Jumbotron, to permanently honor the day that Muhammad Ali returned to Canada. We have a very special banner that will be hoisted by 2 Canadian figure skating greats. It is my pleasure to introduce José Chouinard and 3-time world champion Elvis Stojko. ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up
Hoisted in Skydome, what a tremendous ceremony. Very heartwarming, very stirring. Boxing is a very rough and tumble sport, a barbaric sport at times. It was neat to see the tender emotions from George Chuvalo lightly brushed Muhammad Ali's head. And the word inspiration used over and over again. And I know some people will say, you know, he's only a fighter, only a boxer. He was much more than a fighter and a boxer. And as Brian Williams mentioned, he's showed great courage in Atlanta going to light the flame, and also this fight against Parkinson's is very important, obviously, to Muhammad Ali and to so many people.
Muhammad Ali has clearly inspired them in their various arenas of sport, but it clearly inspired them. His fight against Parkinson's disease is what inspired them as well to be here today. That's why Muhammad Ali is there. That's why we're here, to raise money for Parkinson's disease. As we said, a disease that affects at least 100,000 Canadians and so many more.
I think a lot of people wondered about this ceremony and what it might be like, but thanks to the corporate supporters, of course, I was really touched by this ceremony. You get to see a few of these, but to see a man like Muhammad Ali, the legend, and to see him speak, and speak eloquently, as a matter of fact, was very, very poignant.
For those who know people with Parkinson's, you'll know what a tremendous effort it was for him to make that journey here, to get onto that stage and to speak and show the humor and the emotion that we all know is hidden inside the symptoms of that disease.
And that great courage as well. Don't forget the number on your screen. The phones will be open for a while. And let's fight for a cure. All of the money going to benefit Parkinson's disease research. Muhammad Ali in Canada today. What a special day at Skydome as we send it back to CFL Control.
Thanks, Rod. Yeah, powerful moments at Skydome today, and he may not be the Muhammad Ali that we once knew, but you could see that person, the old Muhammad Ali, still coming through with those eyes when he got up to the microphone today. A great day for Canada, a great day for the CFL. I mean, they're quite fortunate to have this showcase at the halftime of one of their games. Chris?
Well, I also think a great day for athletics. I mean, in this day and age where athletes are put on pedestals and not necessarily conduct themselves in a way that really enhances their own personality. For once, you could see a group of athletes getting together for the betterment of mankind, and I think that is what extra special in a moment like this. And you got to give a lot of credit to the Toronto Argonaut organization, to Garth Dubrinsky, to Carl Brazeley, to all the people behind the scenes that we will never know about that brought this moment together. It was special, it was unique, and very enjoyable to see, and it kind of puts everything in perspective, guys, in terms of football, your life, and what is important and what is not important.
That's exactly right, Chris. And the times that we're in with the senseless killings that are going on in the States, with the sniper shootings, with 9/11 and the recent scenarios and they're unfolding overseas, it's a situation that just ceases to amaze me with a little effort, in which we've seen by the people you just mentioned, Chris, the Toronto Argonauts, the Canadian Football League, TSN, everybody involved, Coca-Cola, going out there and doing good. And Muhammad Ali, you bring a character like that in, a world-recognizable figure involved in a situation like this, you see the backing of the people that are there, Jock, and it ceases to amaze me that we can overcome so much, and if we just give a little bit of effort, which was shown here today.
Yeah, look at the superstars that all showed up to support this event, and they all flew in and gave their time for this event. The moment I felt transcended the football game, and this is a moment those players in the football field will never forget. And this is great for Toronto, it's great for the Argos, and it's great for the CFL. And obviously these guys who had to be standing around for half an hour, 35 minutes, believe me, no one cares. That moment was something that we will all remember, I believe, for the rest of our lives.
There still is a football game to decide here, an important football game for the Argos. It's a 17-12 at the half, but remember the line remains open for the remainder of the afternoon. 1-866-565-4Ali. That's 4254. If you haven't made your pledge already, we ask you to please do so. Third quarter coming up.
Bottom of the muddy Mississippi, so like a butterfly, still like a bee, just like
Hey, Dad, you and Mom are right. I need to think about my future. I mean, I could study sports medicine or get my MBA, or do I become an engineer like you? Dad, I really need your advice. What do you think I should do? Here we go, sweetie. Happy time.
To you, it's a dream. To us, it's a matter of how and when.
Talk to a Freedom 55 financial security advisor about your financial security plan. Freedom 55 Financial. The freedom to choose. The power to get there.
Announcing 2 new flavors of Orville Redenbacher's ultimate theater-style popcorn. Pour on new barbecue or salt and vinegar and add all the flavor you like. Nothing tastes fresher or more flavorful. Ultimate theater-style popcorn only from Orville Redenbacher. Just like at the movies. Now in 5 exciting flavors.
The snow will come, so be ready to ride. Buy a new Arctic Cat and get up to $400 in Arctic wear and accessories, plus no payments and free interest until next March.
Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Wendy's. Take a bite out of hunger with the Wendy's Big Bacon Classic. Wendy's, it's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well-made, well-priced, well-dressed.
Special day at Skydome will be remembered for a long, long time. Muhammad Ali in person for the greatest good. And they're still collecting donations here at Skydome this afternoon. The pledge lines will be open, as Rod and Allison mentioned just a few moments ago. What I liked about the whole deal was the look on the faces of the players who gathered around to watch Muhammad Ali come down.
The players on the field right now have got to be just jumping out of their skin to go and get back and compete, because it was unbelievably inspirational to see him up there. And when Lennox Lewis went up and he got into the stance and
yes,
and it was just truly amazing.
Well, and the players on this football field, Glenn, have no memory of Muhammad Ali as a boxer, just the legend of the man in later years. So it must have been really wonderful to be on that gangplank down there and watching Muhammad Ali come down. And players from both sides were gathered around, and Ali had a smile and a moment for a lot of them as he left the building.
Well, one of the many times Muhammad Ali has been quoted was when he said, "Service to others is the rent you paid for your room here on earth." And I think that ceremony sort of summed that right up.
Jimmy Cunningham has the second half underway with a return out across the 30 to the 32, and back into the football vein now with a look at the stats brought to you by Moores.
Renegades came on there in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, put a few first downs together, had to come away with field goals, which is why the Argonauts so far have the lead, and the Argonauts relying on some big plays and some production out of Robert Drummond.
Halftime stats brought to you by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Ballard at the controls for the Argonauts as Robert Drummond sliding out of the backfield, and Drummond has had a wonderful afternoon so far. Nice slashing run after making the catch for an 8-yard gain.
This is how Robert Drummond's evening began. Very first play from scrimmage, Drummond went over 60 yards with the football. Later in the first half, had a touchdown and has been looking a lot like the Robert Drummond of old.
This will be second down and 2 to go. And Robert Drummond has the first down for the Argonauts, who begin the second half with a 5-point lead on the Ottawa Renegades. Again, the Argonauts are fighting for their playoff lives. They have to win to keep pace with Hamilton and then hope through the final 2 weeks of the season that they might be around for postseason play.
That because the Hamilton Tiger Cats prior to this game beat the Montreal Alouettes in Montreal, their first road win of the season, and puts them at this moment
3 points ahead of Toronto.
No.
Pass was a little low. Ted Alford able to hang on. But there wasn't much of a gain.
Jim Ballard, other than the help from Robert Drummond, has struggled a little bit in this game. But he hasn't got the one guy involved that he needs to, and that's Daryl Mitchell. You can see his numbers are down compared to Dan Crowley's.
Well, Mitchell has a couple of catches, but minimal yards, and actually one was for a loss. That's Dan Crowley lumbering up at the Ottawa bench. Far side, open target. It's Mike Morreale.
Well, we talk about Ballard having to get the ball to Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell took 2 defenders and opened things up for Mike Morreale. So, you know, even when he's not seeing the football, he's involved. That time he went right down the field, and both defensive backs, Gerald Vaughn and George McCullough, took off running with Daryl Mitchell, leaving Mike Morreale wide open for the first down.
Perfect pattern. A 10-yard gain. Exploded for an extra 5 yards after that. Ball spotted very close to first down territory.
John, this offensive line has done a pretty good job so far in this game. Not only for Robert Drummond, pass protection, and that's been a consistent factor for the Argos for the most part this year, especially their tackles, Dwayne Morgan. They've got John Terry outside, and then their center, Chad Polk, who is, again, just like Carl Colt, to the leader, and has to be from the center position.
Mitchell.
See, Mitchell ran the similar pattern, leaving Mike Morreale open the last time. This time he's going to run the corner pattern, and this time they decide to go out and cover Ted Alford, the short guy on the play. Dante Gamble jumps up and leaves Daryl Mitchell open in behind him. They came out in the second half saying we got to double team Daryl Mitchell. They did that until that play, and Daryl Mitchell opens up.
He opened it up for a 20-yard gain, and the Argos at the Ottawa 28, first down. Ballard stands in. He has time. Penrose has the catch, and that'll be another Toronto first down. So Ballard has looked very sharp, crisp in the second half. He's been on target with his passes.
Well, he has. He's looked poised in the pocket right now. He's standing in there throwing strikes, and he's allowed to throw strikes because he's not being harassed by that Ottawa defensive line at this point.
15-yard gain there. Ballard had a decent first half. It wasn't spectacular. He wasn't finding his key target, Daryl Mitchell, frequently, but he called a good half of football and had the lead. And here's Drummond again, just inside the 10.
Jim Ballard's not known for running the football, but you saw all the attention that Drummond is starting to receive now. And Drummond on that inside running play, Ballard continued outside after he handed the ball to Drummond and was wide open. You know, even Danny McManus occasionally will run with the football.
Well, not that frequently.
Occasionally,
He does,
once
yes.
every 3 games. Reggie Slack, of course, made a living of running with the football in the quarterback position.
Like Cunningham might have come back towards his quarterback and missed a change up on the line.
Well, it was an over and under pattern, and what they do is Cunningham is the under and Daryl Mitchell is the over, and here comes the under. That's Cunningham. Daryl Mitchell will be here, and you know what, looked like Jim Ballard threw it in between. There's the under, just crossing patterns, and he threw it over the under and under the over.
I think I understand that.
Are you with me?
As a result, Noel Prefontaine will try and put it over the crossbar and between the uprights.
And he does that.
10-play drive. That's the Argonauts 3 more. It's 20-12 at Skydome.
Okay, I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Well? Okay, bets, boys.
All right, first 5. I'm in. I'm in.
And I'll raise you 5.
It's good tonight. Who brought? Nobody brought. Not one of ours. Yeah, right. No, really.
McCain Rising Crest Pizza. Who can tell it from takeout?
So if nobody brought, then how'd it get here?
Turn every project into a work of art with the fast dry performance, professional palette, and the confidence of painter's touch. Put the pro in your projects.
Why is Varathane Canada's #1 wood finish? Diamond hard protection, brilliant clarity, and a finish that exceeds your expectations. Varathane, diamond hard, clear, and beautiful.
Seiko's forward thinking has created Premier, a design that's modern yet classic, smart yet casual, stylish yet active. Who says opposites don't attract? Premier from Seiko.
We may be a little late for the opening face-off in Dallas tonight, but we'll get you there just the same, and late for a good cause. It's the Capitals and the Stars tonight as soon as we wrap things up here at Skydome. Argonauts used 5 minutes and 13 seconds to drive for that field goal, and an 8-point lead on the Ottawa Renegades. Josh Ronick on first down Ottawa, stumbling forward for a couple of extra yards.
Yeah, you know, when you're the Toronto Argonauts and you have so much to lose in this game, if in fact you can't go on and win it, coming away with field goals on nice long drives like that over 5 minutes are not going to get it done. You don't want to keep Ottawa close.
No, Ottawa's one big play away from being even in this. And on second down and a yard to go, that'll be enough for an Ottawa first down.
Joe Palpal likely spent the entire halftime firing up his football team. There's general manager Eric Tillman, who is always watching the team and evaluating on the fly. But most of the players and coaching staff were out on the field at the very end of the halftime ceremony and tried to get as close as possible to Muhammad Ali.
A little too far for the outstretched hands of Damon Hodge, who has the Renegades' lone touchdown in this one.
And not by much, and this is a couple of times now that Dan Crowley has tried to go with the deep ball. Of course, Ottawa pulling out the stops, really nothing to lose now, so they're just going to throw the ball deep, try and get in behind coverage. And really, Damon Hodge had about a step on Antonius Bonner, and they've missed by a yard or two a bunch this year.
This will be 2nd and 10, and Crowley rolling right, looking deep, and too far again. The intended target this time, DJ Flick.
Well, it didn't work for Ottawa, but you can get a chance here to see exactly what they're trying to do to Joe Mumford. See Josh Ronick trying to slip out and provide some help so that Joe Mumford doesn't get the freebie to the quarterback. So getting a couple of guys on Joe Mumford, that allows Crowley to get to the outside. Now, it didn't work on that play. You know they're going to come back to it if they can contain Mumford's contain a little bit.
Well, at 5'7", Ronick against Mumford is a little bit of a mismatch.
No, you got to bring a big guy in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And go! Ronick was just there for a little extra support. Mumford blew right by him. Jimmy Cunningham with a flag down, reversing his field and heading to the far side. He lost about a dozen yards on the return. There's the story so far. There's lots more to come from Skydome.
It's Wood Pro bonus time at a steel dealer near you. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
And what did you do this weekend?
I called this girl, but the line was busy.
Gary? Matt?
I went to Wendy's for lunch. Well, I see the hamburgers on TV and they look good. I ordered a classic double with cheese. Call me crazy, but I think they made it just for me. Hot, juicy, it tasted great. And when I finished, I felt good. And I liked that feeling. Bravo!
Sure. Wendy's Classic Double with cheese. And now Wendy's pickup window is open late so you can eat great even late.
Would you like to try a new Reason? A candy? Sure, why not? What's Reason? You tell me. It's chocolatey, gosh, and chewy. But easy to chew, and not too sweet. It's really something different.
Reason are not too sweet. Mighty chocolatey caramel covered with rich chocolate.
Really chocolatey. Can I have another one? Sure. Yeah. Thanks.
New Mighty Chocolatey Mighty Reason. You gotta try 'em.
Did you know a cracked or broken windshield compromises your vehicle structure and the effectiveness of your airbag? Not to mention your family's safety. Just one more reason to bring it to the experts.
Lots of famous faces on a special day at Skydome in Toronto. On the sidelines, Michael Landsberg with one.
He fought him twice on Canadian soil. You knew Muhammad Ali, George Chuvalo, in his prime when he was as great with his tongue as he was with his fist. He can't speak now. Speak for him. Talk to the folks at home. Why should they donate to Parkinson's?
Well, if Parkinson's going to affect one of the greatest fighters ever of all time, like Muhammad Ali, it can affect anybody. And I don't know all the stats, but I know Parkinson's is prevalent in this country, all over the world. A lot of people are afflicted by it, you know, hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world. So we need a cure, just like we need to cure cancer and a lot of other diseases. Simple as that.
Emotional moments. George Chuvalo going 27 rounds with Muhammad Ali on Canadian soil. First in Toronto in 1966 and then out in Vancouver 72. Talbot wrapped up in a hurry. The Argos with 4 first downs on that last drive for the field goal and only 6 total first downs in the first half.
Yeah, a little rope-a-dope going on right now between these two teams, and their defenses are making the stands when they have to. The Argonauts did come out and start this second half with that nice 5-minute drive. Joe Palpal, the only good news for him was the fact that they only gave up 3 points.
Ballard 4 of 6 for 53 yards on the last drive. Completion to Talbot, good for a couple. This is 2nd and 8. Right down far side. Bendras has it and steps out. Looked like the Renegades might have gotten a quick start.
Looks like this may go against Ottawa. They,
offside. Ottawa number 90. Penalty.
They're on that side against Gerald Vaughn, and maybe Demetrius Bendras, when you look to next year and to the rest of this season, could be the guy to complement Daryl Mitchell a little bit.
There you go.
You know, and when you talk about complimenting a receiver like Daryl Mitchell, it's just you need someone that you can line up on the opposite side of the field that can get down and make plays. If he starts making plays like Bendras did a few in the first half, then the defense has to play the entire field. Now, rather than trying to cover or make sure that you have one side of the field covered, you have to spread out and cover the entire 65 yards, which opens up Daryl Mitchell.
2nd and 10 for Ballard and the Argonauts here. And that should be enough for a first down. Ted Alford. Second catch of the second half, and that's now Ballard holding his left knee.
Well, a little slow to get up. He was hit as he delivered that one, and he's going to have to go back down and have the medical staff come out and attend to him, which means he'll have to go up for 3 plays even if he can't shake this off.
Argonauts have used 5 quarterbacks so far this season, including Reggie Slack. Michael Bishop ran the team for a few games.
Here comes the pressure. Great bull rush right down the middle by Jerome Haywood. And Jerome Haywood just reestablished the line of scrimmage about 6 yards back and ended up in the lap of Jim Ballard.
Marcus Brady, number 3, is listed as the backup to Jim Ballard this afternoon. Number 3 in succession is Michael Bishop.
The guy who started the season, Stanley Jackson, obviously not around any longer, was injured. Reggie Slack came in to help out in a few games. Won a Saskatchewan game that was important to Toronto.
So it went Jackson, Bishop, Slack, Ballard, and we're to Brady now.
Yeah, Marcus Brady. I had a conversation with Joe Palpal about Marcus Brady before this game, and Marcus Brady, a lot of people compare to Henry Burris. If you remember, Henry Burris was Saskatchewan, and he's now down in the NFL, and started his career in Calgary. And when you start talking about a guy with a real strong arm, that's what Henry Burris is known for. The ability to move around in the pocket, get outside, but has a cannon of an arm. And see if Marcus Brady has any of those characteristics.
So Jim Ballard, 7 of 9 for 74 yards in the second half, is done, it appears. We'll be back.
You can have a big SUV or an SUV that's a big idea.
Rated E for everyone. This is what it feels like when I start draining threes.
This is what you'll see when you bring it in my lane.
This is what it feels like to be dunked on.
This is what it feels like to play in the NBA.
NBA 2K3.
Sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much, and I have to close my eyes and hide.
The Argonauts trying to hang on to a hope for the playoffs. Have another quarterback down.
John, sometimes you're the bowling ball and sometimes you're the pin. Jerome Haywood on this play is the bowling ball. Sandy Annunziata was on roller skates there and gets his quarterback hurt.
I like your windshield and the bug best of all. And here is the new quarterback, Marcus Brady, making an impression on his very first play.
Well, hello.
Hello. Welcome
Marcus
to the CFL.
Brady. Nice option play and a good call to get him started and get him his feet wet. Get out there, run the football, run the option. If they come and hit you, you get that first hit. You know, for every player when they show up for a game, that first hit, you got to get that first hit to knock a little bit of the nerves out of there. Marcus Brady's got paint on his helmet in play one.
Now the money play too, a 17-yard scamper on his first possession.
Well, now
and a completion there to Robert Drummond on his second.
John, you might want to take a little bit off that little dump pass to Robert Drummond. He almost knocked him into row 3.
Now he's injured his star running back.
Now I know Marcus Brady wants to show his arm strength, but you might not want to show it on the short side of the field when you're throwing a little flat route, and that one had a little bit of steam on it. But this is pretty impressive play to get started, and this is how Marcus Brady lost a little paint off the helmet. There, a nice little run.
No, what he really did is he landed on the pizza sign there, and it's still wet.
So he got some paint on the helmet. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Now, the bad news for Toronto is that Drummond, a while to get up from that throw.
He'll be back, though. Cobwebs are now cleared.
Marcus Brady averaged 363 yards per game passing in his college career.
Sean Daniels draws in for Robert Drummond, and Brady just missed Darryl Mitchell.
Let's see.
On 2nd down and 5.
That's just lack of reps, so that's just Marcus Brady not knowing his star receiver, because Darryl Mitchell has the ability to be able to adjust on the fly. In other words, his pattern is just a straight seam pattern, but he has the ability to just change it and adjust it on the fly if he wants. And if you play long enough with him as a quarterback, you're going to realize that and know when he's going to do it. Marcus Brady hasn't played very much with him.
Noel Prefontaine good on 75% of his attempts, all short ones so far today. And that knuckler is wide and low. George McCullough still on his feet, trying to turn something in for the Renegades here, and he's out at the 26. A nifty return on a miss by Noel Prefontaine. Not over yet. Still 20-12.
It's a big contract, but it's clear to me you're pros. I'll be in tomorrow morning. We'll talk about it.
Tomorrow?
Let's go.
Obviously, I've made the right choice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Another long Argo drive. It lasted almost 4 minutes, but no points that time. First down, Ottawa.
And those are going to start to add up against Toronto. And you get down, you put drives together, get some first downs, you get down inside the 40-yard line, got to come away with some field goals. The Argo defense so far is doing their job. They've hung on to this lead for Toronto. But the offensive side of the ball is going to start finishing drives.
Josh Ronick 9 on his first carry, and he'll get the first down there across the 40. Renegades with 2:53 to go in the third quarter. Still with an opportunity to pull this one out. They're down by 8 points.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of time for Dan Crowley to continue to move the football. He doesn't have to force anything. Could stick with the game plan, which includes Josh Ronick in the running game.
First down, Renegades. Nice take by Crowley. And he was almost picked off. 2 Argonauts had an opportunity at it. Denny Montana was the target. Clifford Ivory was in the area. And so was Antonius Bonner.
Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, along with Joe Paopao, who obviously does a lot of the game planning for Ottawa, and will signal in the plays to Dan Crowley or whomever's playing quarterback at the time.
Jimmy Oliver makes the catch and steps out of bounds on 2nd and 10. Spot will be important to the Renegades here. He's a little shy of a first down.
Dan Crowley, timing pattern to the outside. He knew he was going to get zone defense, and that's what would be the weakness. Unfortunately, you have to hope that your receiver can make a move and pick up that extra yard or 2 for the first down, and Jimmy Oliver wasn't able to do it.
Nobody knew.
Third down, a little better than a yard to go. Renegades will kick it away. Lawrence Tynes across the 35, just got it away. It was Clifford Ivory charging. And this is Jimmy Cunningham returning and stopped dead in his tracks. That's where the Argonauts will begin. 0 on the return, 42 on the punt. And here's John Lou.
I'm here with Eric Tillman, GM of the Renegades and former TSN analyst. E.T., tell us, in your opinion, what have been some of the highs and lows for the club this season?
Well, you know, John, I think the high was clearly the opener, to see the old guys back, the Ronnie Stewarts and Mark Cosmos, to connect with the players from the past and their fans. Opening night was special for us.
Now, with 2 games left in the season, does the evaluation process for next season begin now, or do you wait until the offseason?
No, I think that, you know, unfortunately we were eliminated from the playoffs earlier today, but you're always working toward next year. At the same time, we're professionals. We want to win today, and if we can find a way to pull this one out in the fourth quarter and win one of the next two and play hard against a great Montreal team, I think we can feel good about this season.
Okay, well, hoping for a strong end to the season. Thanks for this, Eric.
Respectable inaugural season without question for the Ottawa Renegades.
And that is important, and he mentioned they want to compete, and every win for an expansion team important because you're still trying to show the fans that you're out here to compete, you're out here to build a team that's going to take time to build.
Argonauts, meantime, look at 2nd and 5. Ballard is back. What a pass there, Bendross. Can he go all the way? Oh, not quite. Alfonso Roundtree caught him, but what a terrific pass by Jim Ballard to Dimitris Bendross.
Was it ever on the money to Dimitris Bendross? Jim Ballard steps up into the pocket. He sees his receiver down the seam in behind Alfonso Roundtree, and you can't throw it any better than that.
And Bendross needed one more zig, or perhaps a zag, to get away from Roundtree.
Just got his heels, or he's in the end zone, but that is a serious throw. The reason that Jim Ballard had the chance to do it is the way he stepped up in the pocket.
75-yard strike from Ballard to Bendross. 1st and 10 Argonauts near the 10. Ballard fake one way, tosses to the end zone. Intended it for Ted Alford, and a little miscommunication there. Argonauts really would like to get to the end zone this time. They've settled for too many field goal tries this afternoon.
Without a doubt, this is the time that they got to put it away.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the Argonauts leading by 8. It's Wendy's CFL Live.
So the Argos averting a near disaster. Their playoff fate was almost in the hands of a quarterback who hadn't played it down in the CFL all season long, but Ballard's back. But it was a close call.
Hey, Dave, give Jim Ballard a lot of credit to come back from getting a knee injury in the situation, and I want to highlight exactly why. First, is Sandy Annunziata, the right guard for the Ticats. Not so much a criticism on him, just a teaching point. Jerome Haywood is 6 feet. He's 300 pounds. He's a low-leverage guy. You see Sandy Annunziata, his hand is on the outside of the pad. And everything in pass blocking is from the inside out. If you cannot get both your hands on the inside of the pads, all the power of that defensive lineman is going to collapse into your chest. You're going to get bull rushed. You're going to hit the quarterback. Annunziata is a good guard, but he has to change that technique, or Haywood is going to do the exact same thing again and again and again. Jock.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure Marcus Brady had his heart in his mouth there when suddenly he gets the call. And here's a guy who goes from being on the bench. They acquired him about a month ago in a trade, trying to give up a couple of draft picks to get this guy. I was looking forward to seeing this guy. That first run was electrifying, but Ballard shows a lot of grit and determination coming back in the ball game and doing something he has not done well all year, and that's look off the safety and then throw the ball down the seam. This is what they expected from this guy, not just to hit your backs out of the backfields and the underneath stuff. You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field if you're going to be successful in this league. That's a huge step forward right there for Jim Ballard.
And talk about the quarterbacks in this situation. You just look at the Renegades. You've got O.T. Sampson, you've got Clements, and now you see the return of our man Dan Crowley. He's playing extremely well today. I think he's playing a lot of poise, and it seems like the pressure's been lifted off his shoulders. And you look at the quarterback situation that we've seen in Toronto this year. You've got Ballard in there now showing a lot of grit. He's throwing for 70% completion percentage this year. Brady came in, showed flashes. We've seen Bishop this year. We've got Rivers on the roster. Reggie Slack has come in. These are two teams that are going to have to decide from here on out, the rest of the season, which direction they're going. Clearly, the Renegades have gone with Crowley, and it looks like Ballard is the future of the Toronto Argonauts.
Another big play by Bendross. He's had a good game today. Sets him up. They're knocking on the door again, John.
Well, they haven't been able to get into the end zone so far in the second half, in spite of the fact that the Argonauts have engineered 8 first downs in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 10, 2nd and goal. There's the toss, and it's too far. Ballard just a little too anxious as he looked for Bendross there.
Well, here's how they got down here. I want to show you one more time. Look at the safety, Donovan Carter. Now, Bendross is on this side of the field. and it's Daryl Mitchell. Remember how we told you how they complement each other? Daryl Mitchell, watch how Donovan Carter is so worried about Mitchell that he slides to that side of the field, and Ballard looks there initially. That's the reason the Argos got down there and Bendros was open. They will have to settle for a field goal again, another one, which keeps Ottawa in striking range.
Couple of field goals, or at least one. Well, make that two now. It is a couple of field goals for the Argonauts in the second half. They're not running away from the Renegades quite yet.
Honey? Come here for a sec.
To you, it's a dream. To us, it's a matter of how and when. Talk to a Freedom 55 financial security advisor about your financial security plan.
It's going to be great.
Freedom 55 Financial. The freedom to choose, the power to get there.
Get a new TV? Or save on entertainment? New TV? Or put off the car repairs? New TV? Or make things go further? Why scrimp and save to get what you want? Shop smart and use your Air Miles reward miles. You want it?
Joe Montford has had an opportunity under Mike Clemens to be a little more active in pursuing the quarterbacks, and we've seen some pretty good plays so far this afternoon.
Well, that was the reverse Ottawa tried, and Montford was there. He's been pressuring the quarterback, came around.
And again.
That's a sooner better than a sack.
Created the fumble and the turnover.
Cut loose, basically, under Mike Clemens.
From the shotgun. Jimmy Oliver makes the catch. Adrian Smith was waiting.
And in fairness, you know, to Gary Etcheverry was not a part, really, to the Joe Montford signing. Joe Montford was signed. Gary Etcheverry was basically handed Montford, and at the beginning, didn't really agree with it. Didn't think that Montford would fit in, although once he had the start, he was happy to obviously have a great football player.
Nice pump fake. Oliver is the target again. Not quite. Crowley just missed him as Oliver ran out of room on the near sideline.
Montford moves to that outside position one more time right here. And it's going to be running back Josh Ronick that's going to go and step over and help out Chris Burns and double team every play almost against Joe Montford. And just to wrap up that story, so Etcheverry doesn't really know and isn't really a part of the signing initially. Then he has to try and fit him in. He took a lot of criticism because of it, but didn't adapt it either. Didn't change it to allow Joe Montford to do what he can do best, and that's get after quarterbacks, and Mike Clemens has allowed him to do that.
Coming up short. Flags are down in the area of the kicker, Glenn Harper. Just 19 on the return. Let's bring in Michael Landsberg again.
He is one of the great boxers of his generation, Evander Holyfield. Evander, you've had a chance to spend a lot of time with Muhammad Ali. Your thoughts on this day and the cause that we're raising money for?
Well, the cause is great. When you talk about, you know, Parkinson's disease, you know, we all should contribute. Because it's a deadly disease that crippling a lot of people and hurting a lot of people.
Tough afternoon for Jim Ballard. He was shaken up earlier, back in the ball game, and tossed that very impressive pass to Demetrius Bendros. Crowley to the near side. Big one is gone the other way. Adrian Smith. And Crowley got over to help make the tackle.
Went to the well one too many times in that quick out.
Adrian Smith shaken up on the interception return. First and 10 Argos when we come back.
Welcome back to the TSA Newsroom. I'm Dan Pollard. Get you back to the game in just a short time. Check in on some afternoon NHL action. It was the Avs and the Ducks going at it. 2-1 Anaheim in the third, and Joe Sakic beats Martin Gerber, second of the game, to tie things at 2. And we go to overtime. Dying seconds, Andy McDonald pounces on the loose puck, goes upstairs for the game winner. EIO 3-2. Ducks the final in this one. Afternoon NFL action, the Bills and Dolphins. Second quarter, 7-3 Dolphins. Drew Bledsoe looking over the top for Eric Moulds, and we'll find him 70 yards later. It's a touchdown. The Bills improving to 4-3 on the year with a 23-10 victory. Hockey lives here on TSN. The Washington Capitals paying a visit to the Dallas Stars later tonight. You can catch all the action with the NHL on TSN immediately following the football game. The Army Jagger and the Dallas Stars in action later tonight. That's all for now. More fourth quarter action between the Argos and Renegades coming up.
This is Lang.
We've got 10 million reasons to accuse the man. What is that? Hey, buddy! It's not my job to make the phone call.
Advil Liquid Gels, the only liquid gel that gives you effective migraine relief that's fast.
Adrian Smith appears okay on the sidelines. 33 yards on the return of his 7th interception of the season.
Big Johnny Scott providing a little pressure. Jake Crowley rolls away and has to throw it blind. Basically whips his head around because Scott's right there. And like Joe Pau always says to his quarterbacks, you throw an interception, go over there and make yourself a speed bump.
And that's what Crowley did.
Exactly what Crowley did. Just lie down and now you're a speed bump.
So here are the Argonauts on the 33-yard interception return, set up for the first down. And a little too far for Talbot, who was wide open.
You got to give full credit to Jim Ballard. He comes into the game banged up in the rib cage, and that's hard. It's hard to describe how tough that is to play, because unless you've been there, it's tough to describe. It's tough to breathe. Well, let alone throw the football.
Isn't it even tougher for a quarterback when you have to get back and expose those ribs?
That's right. You got to lift the arm up, and then he's also got a bit of the effects of a concussion. Then he gets his knee hyperextended because Sandy Annunziata got pushed into him and hit there again.
Still firing, and he'll be close to a first down on the connection there with Jimmy Cunningham. Cunningham made the catch and was forced back a couple of yards, so we'll see where they spot the ball.
Again, Daryl Mitchell, how important he is away from the football. He's on the opposite side of the field. He goes down, takes Gerald Vaughn, has him turned around, takes the safety Donovan Carter over to that side as well. And Ballard's looking that way, Carter's looking that way, and they go back to the opposite side.
How close is he?
First down.
That close.
But it's another time that they're inside the 20-yard line in the red zone or green zone or whatever you want to call it, and they come away with field goals every time and keep Ottawa in this one. So Daryl Mitchell, rather than be the decoy, you got to think Ballard's got to start looking for him as the go-to guy, especially down in this area.
Here's Ballard on first down. Won't get it away. Mitchell finally did get open in the end zone. Jerome Haywood.
And Troy Asbell is in there. Watch Daryl Mitchell this time. He's right there, the inside receiver, number 87. He's trying to that little crossing pattern. He gets caught up in all kinds of traffic. You see Troy Asbell steps up and puts his hands on him, pushes him even closer. There he is right there, the middle linebacker. He steps up to take that crossing pattern for Daryl Mitchell. That really disrupts the entire play, and now Ballard has nowhere to throw.
Lost a yard, second down. And 11 to go, Toronto. 10:58 to go in the final quarter at Skydome. As an open target, far side underthrew Mike Morreale, and he had to go down on his knees to make the catch. So the Argos will come up shy of a touchdown one more time.
And again, this is Daryl Mitchell. He's the deep guy. He's the guy going down in the end zone. Alfonso Roundtree on one side. He just plays that outside shoulder. And on the inside was Donovan Carter sliding over there. And that forces Ballard. He looks to him initially and says, okay, no, there's two on him again. I've got to go to the outside and hope Morelli can get up and make George McCullum miss.
So it's Noel Prefontaine, who's had 6 tries so far this afternoon, connected on 4. And make that 5 field goals for Noel Prefontaine. The Argos running a little shy on touchdowns, but they're comfortably in control now.
Ryder Traxxter Max. Now get 3 years extended coverage and no payments for a year on all Traxxter and Quest models.
Here are the Renegades on first down. It's Josh Ronick.
Well, the defense for the Argos are starting to settle in now, and then this is Crowley has been in second and 7 or more for most of this second half, and hasn't got a whole lot of help out of his running game, and that's because the 4 up front, Dunbrook, Maxey, Scott, and Mumford, basically eliminated the running game. And this is where Mumford flourishes.
And here's Mumford on the tear again. Complete to Reggie Jones, who's out near the 50.
Well, the play is designed to run right away from Joe Mumford, and that's why he is so important to the defense when he's allowed to do what he does. He's right on the edge right here, and he's coming around the corner, so if Crowley doesn't get out of there in a hurry, he's getting hit in the back. Look how quick he gets off the ball. Seth Dittman has no chance to get to him. Crowley almost to the sideline when he delivers the pass.
Intended that for DJ Flick, who got one hand on it.
Not easy to play Joe Mumford. This time Seth Dittman basically uses his speed. They're former teammates, and see Seth Dittman stays in his stance, got that good form, and just pushes Joe Mumford past quarterback Dan Crowley. Now that's usually Joe Mumford. The conversations that I've had with him, that's what he'll do. He'll let Seth Dittman do that once, and then the next time he'll step upfield and come underneath him. Well, watch that. I'll get Seth Dittman's name right. Don't worry. Just get there.
Crowley. And here's Mumford. And he got it.
Yeah, see, and that, you know,
is it always the very next play that happens on?
Well, this time Mumford stayed with the same move. He'll save the inside cut for a later time. But again, it's Seth Dittman, and watch the same speed rush up high. Seth Dittman thinks he's pushed him past. Fortunately, Crowley had left the pocket and run right to where Mumford was going.
First sack for Mumford today, although he had that quarterback pressure that created a fumble earlier and actually set up a touchdown for the Argos.
Hey, Scott.
We still got some more season, baby. We're going to keep fighting and scrapping.
They're doing that tonight. Fighting and scrapping.
I told you. When y'all do that, he was supposed to fucking go straight. Damn, you straight on that. I had him again. I was rearing that bitch for the God damn.
Renegades were a little late in getting this third down play away, so it cost them a couple of yards. Glenn Harper drops back near the 35 now. Share Livingston awaits for Toronto. Livingston out in a hurry. Mike Moyer there, but here's Joe Mumford getting to the quarterback. We've seen it before.
What? They gave our room away?
Not what you want to hear. Then Super 8's where you want to stay, where VIP members get guaranteed rooms and 10% off. Clean, friendly Super 8. All the room you want.
You know that feeling when you move into your own apartment?
You buy your first car.
You know, that feeling when...
The days seem too short, and the possibilities seem endless.
You know, that feeling you get when you suddenly realize...
This is my life. I'm gonna make it what I want it to be. I love that feeling.
You can get there from here. New Canada Savings Bonds. It's the way to save, 100% guaranteed. A message from the Government of Canada.
When the kings of the gridiron are crowned, will you be there? This year, the Vanier Cup is your ticket to football excitement. Skydome will rock November 23rd when Canada's best face off to determine the next national champion. The 2002 Vanier Cup. Be there. Tickets available at Ticketmaster or by calling 1-866-4-VANIER.
Now there's a new way to help soothe your skin after shaving. New Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm with vitamins. It has advanced moisturizers to soothe and improve the look of your skin. Nivea Aftershave Balm. More evolved skincare.
On Friday nights, we're in Edmonton at Commonwealth with the Rough Riders and the Eskimos for another edition of Wendy's Friday Night Football. Kickoff 8:30 Eastern. Riders made the playoffs with a win over the BC Lions yesterday, but still a few things up in the air as far as who will play who and where all teams will finish.
On the western end, though.
Ballard is down. Dropped at the 20. That was Keaton Cromartie getting there.
Yeah, and Keaton Cromartie's got to go and do the hot fives with the secondary. He's got to go back there and look at the DBs and say, guys, you did your job, and that's how I got my stat. Because Jim Ballard had time to throw the ball. Keaton Cromartie just kept working at it, working at it. He didn't have a receiver. Ballard had to hold on to it, and Cromartie finally got home.
Second down, Sean Daniels and Robert Drummond remains on the sidelines.
Well, it was the first play Marcus Brady came in the game, and this was the second play he was in the game, threw that out, and he went down hard.
Making the catch and then falling back at the turf and hitting his head.
Hasn't been back since. It's one of the reasons Jim Ballard's been throwing the ball almost every down. Bring Sean Daniels in, and he becomes the blocking back, and they just run the extra receiver, and away they go.
George McCullough. The lone man deep for the Renegades with Noel Prefontaine back near his 7. Across the 10 to get a high kick away. Good move by McCullough. And he's almost to the 50. Stopped there by Brad Elberg. 10 on the return, a 52-yard punt.
So I'm going to be away for 9 days. My mother, she's going in for surgery.
You know your face is painted.
No, it isn't.
The Ultimate Canadian Beer brings you the Ultimate Canadian Road Trip. 6 Canadian cities, 6 games, with 3 friends in 9 days.
What's that?
I am Canadian. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
Welcome back to Skydome, where Muhammad Ali has left the building on his way back to his home in Kalamazoo after a very emotional halftime tribute. And, of course, our pledge phones are still operating. They will for a couple of hours now. The pledge drive this weekend will continue. 1-866-565-4-Ali. A lot of people have been calling in to making donations in aid of finding a cure to fight Parkinson's disease. So please call.
And here we go, the first down for Dan Crowley. Right to his right and then throwing at the last second and aiming it a little too high for Nigel Williams. He got a hand on it, but that's about all.
Yeah, Nigel Williams should have come up with that catch, so it was high. He had to go up for it, but he had both hands on it. And Crowley was improvising. He got to the outside. Michael O'Shea was starting to chase him down, so he backed up and got it to him. And Nigel Williams couldn't come up with the catch.
Another area the Renegades will concentrate on for their second season is finding some more reliable receivers.
Nigel Williams has had many opportunities. He's 8 seasons in the CFL.
Here we go.
Crowley
There it is.
has Jimmy Oliver, who has been the most steady of the Renegade receivers with 65 catches, almost 800 yards coming in.
DJ Flick, after that play was over, was in behind in a bit of a fight with one of the Argo defensive backs, and a flag came down.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Ottawa 82. It was after the play, first down.
When we wrap up, if you've tuned in looking to see the NHL on TSN, we'll get you there as soon as we wrap up here. Capitals and Stars. First and 10 Renegades. 5:17 to go. Jimmy Oliver stopped well short of the first down.
Well, penalty obviously to DJ Flick. Hurts Dan Crowley. Had a nice game there to Jimmy Oliver. Had some little momentum in this drive, all taken away. Penalty that was unnecessary.
Second down and 7 to go for the Renegades, trailing 26-12. Crowley got it out, and Mike Maurer makes the catch, but he's well short of the first down, so Ottawa will get set to kick it away again. Renegades are looking to gamble here on third down and almost 5 yards necessary for a first. Time has run out on their season. As far as the playoffs are concerned, they were eliminated by the Hamilton Tiger Cats' victory over Montreal earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, why not pull out all the stops now? Got nothing to lose.
Clifford Ivory got a hand on it. Denny Montana was the intended receiver. Great memories here this afternoon in boxing and in football. Remember the days when number 1 was firing bullets like that for the Edmonton Eskimos to Tommy Scott and a host of great receivers in Edmonton. Is that Kelly? That was Kelly. There were 5 Grey Cups in a row for the Eskimos. Warren Moon guiding the Eskimos to those Grey Cups, and it's great to see you again, Warren. You look like you should be out there this afternoon.
Well, looks can be deceiving. I feel good, but I don't think I can do what these guys are doing out here, but they're doing a great job. This game has a lot of importance, so I understand, so I'm sure they're going at it pretty good out there today.
Emotional halftime ceremony, your thoughts?
Well, you know, just being involved with those type of athletes and then being here to honor Muhammad Ali and try and raise money for Parkinson's disease was a tremendous honor for me to be a part of. And you know, he was a great inspiration for me growing up because I came up during the era when he was, you know, going through his trials and tribulations, trying to deal with racism, trying to deal with the politics of not going to the war. A lot of people didn't understand him. He was a very misunderstood athlete, but his courage and his determination kept him going. And I watched all those things as a young kid growing up, and it really helped me through some of my trials and tribulations.
Well, the Argonauts come up a little shy of the first down. Marcus Brady in playing quarterback, and it'll be 2nd and 5. Warren, thanks very much for dropping by to say hi, and it's really great to see you again.
Guys, thanks for having me, and I hope the rest of the season turns out great.
Thank you.
Warren Moon, the great of the Edmonton Eskimos. Timeout at Skydome, and we'll be right back.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength, becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex. An entire gym in one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real. The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and low monthly payments, now available in Canada. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex. The power is yours.
Okay, I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Well? Okay, bets, boys.
All right, first 5.
I'm in.
I'm in.
And I'll raise you 5.
It's good tonight. Who brought?
Nobody brought. Not one of ours. Yeah, right.
No, really.
McCain Rising Crust Pizza. Who can tell it from takeout?
So if nobody brought, then how'd it get here?
Into the final 3 minutes at Skydome. Robert Drummond still on the sidelines.
And for about the last 25 minutes, he's been pacing the sidelines with a puzzled look on his face. He's been out since hitting his head on the turf after accepting the Marcus Brady pass. And according to Drummond, he says that he's fine. No stars, no concussion. The trainers have not, however, cleared him to play. Coaching staff is not putting him back in. So a bit of a mystery on the Argos sidelines here.
Well, you can see he's frustrated, but this is just the Argos medical staff trying to be very cautious with a head injury. You know, and Johnny Scott last week versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats was ready to play. He was cleared medically. Mike Clements kept him out another week to make sure, and he had a bit of a concussion. And just to make sure, and he said there's lots to do after football is over. You got to be careful with head injuries, so I'm sure that's what they're doing with Robert Drummond right now.
Argos in control, leading 26-12. Sean Daniels is in for Robert Drummond. But as Glenn mentioned a few moments ago, they have been going to the air a little more frequently without their star running back in the lineup.
You know, and the Argos hold on and win this game. This is a good decision. Keep Robert Drummond healthy, and I know it's frustrating for him. You know, you as a player, if you've ever had a concussion, you want to get back in, you feel fine. And what they'll do is they'll hide your helmet.
I've probably heard of that.
Well, because the player will go and get it and go on his own.
Confusion down there. But Daniels comes through, and Charles Assman.
Well, hide the helmet. Michael Burrow's got to find his helmet in the battle in the trenches. And Sean Daniels picks up a nice gain. Burrow is the outside player trying to get contained. He comes folding back and then gets the heel of Daniels, and the helmet flies off. So Argos are hiding Drummond's helmet. Burrow's helmet's flying over the field. There's helmets everywhere.
Marcus Brady, the fifth Argonaut quarterback we've seen this season, is in for Toronto now. And if you've turned in for hockey, well, Washington-Dallas is coming up as soon as we wrap it up here at Skydome. 1:35 on the clock in the end zone. And the Argos try to keep their playoff hopes alive. It looks like they have done that at least for another week. But for Toronto, it's a situation where they have to win and hope. Nice pass from Brady to Morreale.
It is a nice throw for Marcus Brady on the outside. He's in the full run. He's full speed running to that sideline and delivers a nice strike to Mike Morreale. You know, this is a good look at a chance to see a good young quarterback. Watch out. He takes off. Now, he's just running out there. Looked at the beginning to go ahead and run a quarterback sweep. Then he sees Morreale and drops it right to him.
He really fired that on the run. He didn't slow down a bit, did he? Gain of 20 yards, and the Argos are set up to score again here with 1:15 to go. Touchdowns have been hard to come by. This is Sean Daniels, just inside the 10. So Mike Clemens with 2 wins in 4 games as the Argonaut coach this time around. The only team he's been able to beat, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So he's on the verge of adding the Ottawa Rough Riders here at keeping Toronto's hope for a spot in postseason play alive.
They will, if they hang on and win this game, which it looks like they will still be a point behind the Hamilton Tiger Cats with both teams with one game to play.
So the Argos need some help.
Yeah, the Argos will need the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to knock off Hamilton in that game.
And the Argonauts' final game will be against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah. And, you know, Winnipeg still fighting for first place in the West, so they're still motivated and want to continue to finish this season strong.
Currently held by the Eskimos with 24 points, but Winnipeg, with a win already this weekend, moves a little bit closer.
Well, we've only seen a few plays from Marcus Brady, but kind of impressive plays. Nice run to start.
There's a great run, and then the pass that put Drummond out of the game.
Well, that had a little heat on it. He'll put a little more touch on those after.
Needed a little more touch, but here he is, looking for his first touchdown toss. And he comes up a little shy there. Everyone was covered, and so it'll be third down Toronto.
Well, if the Argos want a chance and they want to go and try and beat Calgary next week, they're going to have to figure out a way to put the ball in the end zone when they get down inside the 20. I think they're up around 5 or 6 now.
Well, Noel Prefontaine has tried 7 field goals, connected on 5.
It's funny, I was talking to Noel Prefontaine before the game, and I said, you know, your percentage is the best, one of the best in the leagues when you look at it, over 80%. But the problem with it is you only had 22 attempts, which is the least attempts in the league. And that's out of your hands. The offense got to get in range so you can come out and have attempts, and he's got 7 attempts tonight.
Well, yeah, you fixed him up real well here. He's 86% coming in.
Well, a few more, and he's going to be halfway to what he's had all the way up to this point.
This is his 8th field goal attempt, and all have been relatively short opportunities for the Argos so far this afternoon.
Well, the one, yeah, except for that one he missed, was out around the 50-yard line. But there, you're right, the others have been right in tight.
Some early movement there from the Renegades. It was Jerome Haywood, 99.
Coming into this game, Prefontaine had only missed 1 field goal in his last 11 games. He's missed a couple tonight. Both were the longer ones, and the short ones he's been bang on.
Illegal procedure. Toronto 66. Penalties decline. It's still third down.
And still 44 seconds on the clock. Prefontaine, short chip shot, hammers it through. It's 29-12. Argonauts leading the Renegades at Skydome.
How long will your car live? That depends on the proper maintenance of your car's vital fluids. You can depend on the fluid experts at Mr. Lube. Mr. Lube, doing it right before your eyes.
Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme is so delicious. With its 2 slices of processed mozzarella and Parmesan sauce on a seasoned whole breast filet, it's taking people to a higher level. Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme, it's better here.
Ottawa Renegades found out just prior to the game their playoff hopes were dashed completely into the final 41 seconds of the game now, and that's Dan Crowley looking to be the #1 quarterback next year going into training camp, now with just 2 games to prove himself. And
the Ottawa Renegades have a couple of games left in their regular season, both against the Montreal Alouettes, who lost today.
Too many men. Toronto
at home. And
first down.
You're right. Those 2 games will be tryouts for a lot of players and how they will come into camp next year. The Argonauts, on the other hand, still alive in the playoff picture, but they will have to beat out Hamilton and finish second in the East because the crossover is a guarantee. 4 teams from the West Division this year will make the playoffs.
Saskatchewan Roughriders guaranteed their spot in the playoffs with a win over BC yesterday. 27 seconds to go. The game ball goes to Demetrius Benrock. Game ball brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sports.
Yeah, and that's good news for Toronto. If they're going to make this run, they can beat Calgary in their next game and hope for some help from Winnipeg. Get Bendros going and complement Daryl Mitchell will help them offensively. Robert Drummond looks like he's going to be okay for that Calgary game. Looks like he's on a bit of a roll, back-to-back 100-yard games.
Picked up. Clifford Ivory.
And their defense is playing pretty well right now.
Couple of interceptions this afternoon. Ivory still on his feet. Still on his feet. And it took a couple of Renegades to drag him down with 9 seconds to go. Reggie Jones was one. It was Clifford Ivory that was part of the play that Adrian Smith was involved in earlier.
That's the 10th interception thrown by Ottawa quarterbacks against the Toronto Argonauts in 3 games.
Ivory was the player that pitched the ball to Adrian Smith on the blocked convert.
Way to go!
So one final chance to get to the end zone for the Argonauts. But they're not going for it at this point.
They'll just take
comfortably in control. They'll happily take the win and take the final 7 ticks off the clock.
Don't get anybody hurt at this point. Take the win and stay in the fight. And all you want to do is live to play another day. Joe Palpal will play 2 more games to wrap up their season. Win's important to them because they're an expansion team and they want to win for the fans. But the Argos are still alive.
Mike Clemens is 3 wins and 2 losses in 5 games as a head coach of the Toronto Argonauts this time around. Argos stay alive with a 29-12 win over the Ottawa Renegades.
Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Wendy's. Take a bite out of hunger with the Wendy's Big Bacon Classic. Wendy's, it's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
Game over, Muhammad Ali, day over, but our pledge drive will continue in the fight against Parkinson's disease. The phone number will stay on for the next 24 hours if you'd like to make a donation. There are also some valuable gifts available to those of you who want to donate a Muhammad Ali gift bag. Also, the top 10 donations will get a pair of Muhammad Ali autographed boxing gloves. A day where a disease that sometimes is very misunderstood. I think we gained a lot more understanding about it, and we understand that you can help out by making a donation. We thank our corporate supporters who helped today, and also all of you who helped with your donation. A great day at Skydome for the greatest. As we send it back to CFL Control, our phone lines will be open for the next 24 hours.
Thanks very much, Rod. Well, 6 hours and a little bit of CFL football, which was highlighted by the appearance by Muhammad Ali, comes to a close. As mentioned, those lines still remain open, so if you didn't have a chance to make your pledge, please do so. On behalf of Schultz, Maddie, Jock, and the entire crew, thanks for watching today. We'll be back next Friday for Wendy's Friday Night Football. The Saskatchewan Roughriders with a big win yesterday, taking on the Edmonton Eskimos. That's next Friday night. Up next, we're going to join this game in progress, the NHL on TSN. We've got the Caps and the Dallas Stars. That's coming your way momentarily. But the Argos didn't exactly punch it into the end zone a whole lot today, but they did get it done. They beat the Ottawa Renegades. And we also saw a fantastic emotional tribute to Muhammad Ali at halftime. There's the number to call. Thanks again for watching. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.